everybody. Carla Cabral with Direct Action Everywhere here outside the County of Alameda Administration Building. We're here early this morning in support of an ordinance that's going to be voted on today. This is a very important ordinance when it comes to the rodeo. This ordinance would ban wild cow milking, non-release ropes, bucking straps, and spurs. Let me show you everybody that's out here.
Animals love their babies, just like us. Animals want to be happy, just like us. Animals love their children, just like us. Animals deserve to be free, just like us. Animals deserve to be happy, just like us.
All right. I would love to hear from everybody in the comments. Let me know if you're aware of this ordinance. You are going to be able to call in if you want to support the ordinance. If you'd like to know what bucking straps are, these are the straps that are put around the animal's waist that make them perform that bucking action. Now, many of the rodeo proponents talk about the bucking straps, the fact that they're very soft, that they don't actually cause the animals any harm. It's simply meant to be an instrument put on the animals, say the way you would put a leash on a dog to let them know they're going to go for a walk. The bucking strap is simply a tool used by the cowboys in order to let the animals know that it's time for them to do their job, to perform that bucking action. But we know that this is not the case. You can see in many videos how tightly these bucking straps are strapped onto the animal, and that pain is what causes the animal to perform the bucking action. So if these were just simply instruments that would allow the animal to know that it's time to do their job, they wouldn't actually be necessary. A dog can go for a walk whether the dog is on a leash or not. They're going to come out and go on a walk with you, but the animals do not buck if those straps are not tightened onto them. The entire purpose is to get them to perform an extremely unnatural act. The spurs. Also, the cowboys talk about how the spurs are dull. They don't actually cause the animals any pain, but then I'm not sure why they're necessary. What would be the purpose of kicking these animals with dull objects if not to get them to, again, perform actions that are not natural to them? So this ordinance would ban those items as well as non-release ropes. So these are the ropes that are used when they tie down baby calves. Baby cows are put out. The cowboys chase after them. They lasso them, slam them to the ground oftentimes, and tie them up so that they cannot move. There are different types of ropes that are used in rodeo, and the type that is going to be banned if this ordinance passes is the type that does not release on their own. So no matter how tight they pull on this rope, the animal has no way to get free. They're stuck there until somebody releases them. These are cruel instruments that are completely unnecessary, and we are out here today to let Alameda County know that we're not going to stand for it anymore. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. Please make sure, Knob, thank you, fix the orientation. Let me see. Please let me know in the comments. All right. Is that working? Let me know in the comments if the orientation is working. My apologies. Normally the other way works. Let me turn this around so you can see who's here.
Justice for animals. Justice for animals.
Tradition is no excuse for animal abuse. Tradition is no excuse for animal abuse. Profit is no excuse for animal abuse. Profit is no excuse for animal abuse. Entertainment is
Knob, thank you so much for letting me know that the orientation wasn't working. Again, thank you to everybody that's here. I would love to hear in the comments if anybody has questions about the ordinance that's being voted on today. I would love to hear if anyone has anything to say about the instruments that are used, anything with the rodeo. Travis, thank you for commenting. Right now, let me turn around so you can see behind me. We are at the County of Alameda Administration Building in Oakland, California. This is where the ordinance is being voted on that would ban wild cow milking, non-release ropes, spurs, and bucking straps. And I'm not sure if you guys know what wild cow milking is. I had never heard of this. It's sort of not one of the main events at the rodeo, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's an offshoot event. And what this event is, a lactating mother cow is let loose in the arena, and then a team of grown men, when I was watching videos, it looked like about 4 or so grown men run after this lactating mother cow in order to grab her around the neck and subdue her, pull on her tail to try to get her under control so that another person can go in and milk her, get a little bit of her milk into a beer bottle and run it over to the end point to know how fast they do that. When whoever does it the fastest wins. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm really at a loss for words as to what I can say about an event like that, but that is what is on the ordinance to ban. So we would really appreciate your support. Sorry for the noise. They're working on something across the street. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if you can hear the activists behind me. Great, thank you so much. Yeah, the wild cow milking is just, it's a little hard to understand. Again, I feel that the rodeo in and of itself is about dominance. It's about asserting a perceived dominance over another species. So we've got the activists are moving a little bit further onto the property. Behind me, yeah, it is disgusting, Linda. Thank you for the comment. You know, we see it as disgusting. They see it as entertainment. This is where we're at as far as a battle between these two sides, where the rodeo feels that this is just fun. It's entertainment for the crowd. They're not hurting the animals. You know, I get that. They've been raised to believe that that's the case, but we are here today to try and shed some light on how cruel these acts really are and how unnecessary these acts are. So thank you, Sandra. Yes, you know, on our side of things, we see the animals as individuals. We see their personalities. We see their worth to simply exist without humans constantly trying to exploit them, constantly trying to make them do things that are unnatural to them. So we're here today making sure that our voices are heard. You right here on the live stream, you can call in. If you go online, you can be on Zoom and watch what's happening inside the meeting, and they are going to ask for public comment. So please feel free to call in and give your public comment about this ordinance. Tell them that you support the ordinance. You want them to pass this ordinance. Yeah, thank you, Linda. Again, we would love for anybody to go out and have their voices heard against rodeos. I just struggle to find a way to describe what it's like to watch these animals being abused, and to know that the people who perform the abuse, they don't see it that way. And actually, I understand when you are so entrenched in something, when it is your whole worldview, when that's all you've known from the time that you were born, is that what you're doing is tradition, it is your heritage, it's good, you know, it can be hard to have people from the outside telling you, no, you're wrong. It takes a strong person to really look inside themselves, to look at what they're doing, and to say, yeah, okay, I see this individual that I profess to love so much and care for. I'm no longer going to make them perform for me. Let's check out what's going on behind me. I can see that there's a little bit of talking going on, so I'm going to put the camera on them and see what we're doing. Curtis, what if you can let the live stream know what's going on, what's happening?
Yeah, so we were originally planning to stay out here a little bit longer, but it looks like there are some pro-rodeo people and others that are lined up to get into the meeting early, and they may have a limited number of seats inside, so we are going to go inside to make sure that we can get, you know, a lot of our people in there, because we want to be able to counter the pro-rodeo voice.
Right.
We know that the voices of the animals are being drowned out. We have to be there for them. So yeah, we got a great turnout today. I'm really happy with the number of people that showed up, especially for, you know, this early in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of us don't normally get up this early, and it's great to see people are committed and dedicated to this. And
we have somebody online. Steven is asking if public comment from out of state is okay.
Go for it. We had people from out of the county go speak last time,
And people want to know, there's somebody from Portugal who want us to share the link in order to be able to, is there a website, is there something that you know where people can go? I don't happen to have it on hand.
The link for the hearing?
Right, for this, so that they can
if
make
you
public comment.
If you just do a search for Alameda Board of Supervisors, go to their website, click on, scroll down to meetings, and then you'll see a 9:20 or whatever today is, 9:20 agenda, and you can click on that, and there's the agenda with the Zoom link in it. So
all right.
Again, it's Alameda Board of Supervisors.
Alameda County, Oakland, California. So if somebody's in another country, just so they know this is California, Oakland, California, Alameda County. Do you want me to like keep going here or go in?
We should probably, you can take it in and see if you want to get a video of the scene inside, if they let you.
All right. Okay, guys. So hopefully some of you will stick with me. I am going to just please stay with this live stream. Alameda County, Alameda. It's, you know, let me put right up here. This is the County of Alameda Administration Building, County of Alameda. We're in Oakland, California, which is Alameda County. So if you go online, just search for Alameda, California, Alameda County, California, Board of Supervisors meeting. So everything is online. You can scroll down, go to today's meeting. For those of you who don't know, it is pretty early. We got here at about 7:30 this morning and started setting up. The meeting is supposed to start at 9:30. But if you guys are willing to stick with me, I will try to take my phone in and keep this live stream going during the meeting so that you can hear what's going on. If you can also go online and again watch the Zoom link from online. So stick with me, guys, as we enter in. Did somebody get my thermos and my bag? Do you know if anybody got... Oh, sorry guys, bear with me. I'm just running over to get my apples and my thermos. We're gonna go inside. Can I leave this with you? Because I don't think I can take it in. Thank you. All right, we're gonna try to go. We're in line now, and we're gonna try going in. All right, so we're gonna go in. I have to, put my mask on, of course, for safety. And I'd love to hear from everybody in the comments. All right, we're going in. Bear with me if there's any changes in this live stream as I go through. I have to put the phone through the detector and walk through metal detector. So please stay with me, and I'll see you on the other side of this entrance. I'm gonna.
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cell phone, keys, belt to make your boat out. Any metal on your person, you put on top of it. Take it off. While you're in the building, put your mask on, leave them on. And if you're going to migrate, go to the 5th floor.
Hey, look, sorry about that.
Okay, let's roll.
She had mates, so she had kids.
Took it outside. Is this her bag? Is this her bag? Yes, we're going down here too. Who's up?
Cool.
All right, guys, so we are inside. We are inside the building, so thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you guys so much for staying with me. I have to keep my mask on, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. Thank you so much to everybody for staying with me. I was able to keep the live stream going as I went through the detector, and I'm going to take you guys inside the meeting so that you can hear what everybody is talking about in the meeting. We're headed up to the 5th floor. All right, so it sounds like from the comments in here, thank you, Alejandra, Sandra, Jamie, everybody on the live stream, thank you so much. It sounds like maybe you're having some trouble finding the live stream of the actual meeting itself, so thank you so much for sticking with us.
just giving you a view of what's going on here. I probably will not be able to speak too much. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay through the mask? And I'm having to be pretty quiet as we want to be respectful of the meeting. We want to be respectful to everybody that's here, and just listen to what they have to say. So yeah, we want to make sure that everybody is being heard. So if somebody can please let me know in the comments if you can see everything okay and if you can hear everything okay. See if I can. Sandra, thank you. That's wonderful. Thanks for letting me know. Again, I'm probably going to have to be pretty quiet in here. Everybody is very quiet, wanting to make sure that we respect everything. Please stay with me. Please stay on this live stream. And I'm going to keep things pointed in the other direction so that you get the full view of what's happening here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Chris, thank you. Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can see this and hear this. Again, hopefully they're going to start letting us in soon. Just for anybody that might be new joining, we're in Alameda County, California, in Oakland, California, and we're here at the administration building because they're having a meeting where they're going to vote on an ordinance that would ban several rodeo items: the wild cow milking event, non-release ropes, spurs, and bucking straps. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments so I can address them. But now I'm going to turn it around so you can see everybody who's here right now.
We were quite next to them.
Thank you so much to everybody who's on here. I really appreciate everybody sticking with this live stream, even as I had to put the camera into the bucket to go through the metal detector. Thank you so much for staying with me. This is a really important issue, making sure that we speak out for the animals, that we're advocating for the animals. We feel that they should not be exploited. They should not be made to perform for humans in any way. This is not entertainment. And I understand that a lot of the people who are here believe that this is part of their culture. It is how they were raised, and so they believe this to be good. They believe it to be just. They believe that it is perfectly normal and natural to assert human-animal dominance over non-human animals, and that is just old thinking. They rely on things like culture, history, tradition, but as many of us know, those are never excuses that are okay to hurt animals. Using culture as an excuse, tradition, history. How many times have we looked back in our past to see atrocities that have happened? And thankfully people have raised their voices and let the masses know that it was not okay. And slowly we are having laws that make a difference. Now, it's definitely, I think, easier to do that with human atrocities, but even then we're still working to make things equal for everybody. So please make sure that you stick with this. I'm going to go inside as soon as possible, and I will keep this live stream going as long as I can so that you can see what everybody is saying inside the meeting, and we may even get a vote that will let us know if this ordinance passes or not. Sandra, yes, that is the one. Board of Supervisors regular meeting, 9/20/22. That's it. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. Thank you, everybody who's here with me. Renee, you're saying the video is not working right. Okay. Sorry, I'm having to speak so low, and I think my phone is trying to figure out what to focus on. I apologize for any disruptions in how the video looks. Thanks for letting me know. People are starting to speak up a little bit. But there are a lot of people here, and that's good. There's some on our side, some on the other side. Please make sure that you're sharing this live stream. Share this so that we get more people that...
Maybe.
Let me see this. Let me show you something.
Yes, I think everybody's
Huh. Renee, I'm so sorry. I don't understand why the video would be pixelated, other than the fact that we're inside a building, so the connection is probably very poor. That's what I'm imagining, that I probably have a very low Wi-Fi connection, and so it's probably... Let me get one of those slips.
But are you going into the room?
Yeah.
I got my own slip so that I can fill this out, and if I am able to make a comment, I will do so. It's going to be contentious though, because there are a lot of people here. Alright, so I'm going to fill this out. I'm going to fill out this, and let me show you again what they're having us fill out. I'm glad to hear that the video is working again. Please make sure that you're sharing this live stream. We want to get as many people as possible to call in support of this ordinance. Again, if you're calling in, tell them that you support the ordinance that bans wild cow milking, non-release ropes, bucking straps, and spurs. Curtis, you said it's item 101?
101, yeah.
All right, for everybody on the live stream, if you're going to call in, this is item 101, item 101. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing. We want to make sure we get as many people as possible to call in. All right, we're going to go in. I have to be a little bit more quiet. I thought they were opening the doors, so I thought maybe we're going in. Again, please let me know if you guys have any questions. If you can go online and find the Alameda County Board of Supervisors meeting and call in. If you call in, you're going to be able to speak up for the animals, let them know how you feel, and make a difference. We're here to help the animals. Alright, I'm going to show you guys what's going on right now. Item 101. Here we have filling out the form in person. I wish I could, interview some of the people that are here. We could have a little bit of a dialogue. If we were outside, I was hoping to be able to actually speak with some of the rodeo proponents and get their views on things. Unfortunately, they brought everybody inside, and people are maintaining a little bit of a quiet decorum. So I don't think this is the appropriate place for me to walk up and try and have a conversation with anybody. Oops, sorry. That's all right. Hey, Tonya.
Hey,
This is a live stream. If you want to say why you're here.
I'm here because I think that bullying animals is not any kind of entertainment that any just and compassionate society would allow to occur. And rodeos are just bullying, scaring animals, overpowering them, using basically torture devices to make them hurt and frightened and somehow prove I don't know what about the people who subdue them.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
would we want to subdue animals and not just live in peace with them? I don't understand, and it's time for this to end. Just like other traditions that have been called entertainment in the past, like cockfighting and dog fighting. Rodeos need to go. You know, using animals in circuses, that's on its way out too, and it's time for this to end.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was Tonya, who's here to speak up for the animals. You know, again, I understand that the other side is using the idea of tradition, of heritage, but we can look back into our history and see how many times over and over and over that using heritage and culture and history and tradition as excuses to continue to perform violent acts upon others is just not okay. And we're not going to stand up for it. Oh, I need that. I need the pen. All right, I'm about to fill out my form. You have to put your address? Yes.
It's really hard to say. I feel bad finding these things. There's like a lot of variables. You know, I didn't know how long that's going upstairs.
Uh-oh, I'm putting my entire address
They could wait until the thing is
out on a live stream. You guys, if you want to send me a birthday card, or just say hello, there's my address for everybody to there's my personal address, everybody. If you got that on the live stream, you have my personal address if you want to say hello. Let me turn this back around. So thank you all. Thank you so much for being here. I just filled out my form to say that I support the ordinance that is going to be voted on today. This is Alameda County, Oakland, California. We're at the administration building where they're holding a regular Board of Supervisors meeting. At this meeting, they're going to vote on an ordinance that would ban wild cow milking, non-release ropes, spurs, and bucking straps. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about that. Yep, support item 101. Yep, banning the cool practices in rodeos. Renee, that is exactly correct. Item 101 is what we want to support here. And I was just filling out my form, and I put my personal address on there. Which none of us are hiding. A few other activists have just arrived. Yep, exactly. Sandra, I understand. I know. So I actually lived in Spain for a year. Let me move out of the way a little bit. So I actually lived in Spain for a year. I lived in a little town south of Barcelona called Vilanova i la Geltrú, and I lived there for a year. And traveling around, I know that bullfighting is a practice that still happens, and I know that you guys are fighting hard to stop that practice. It's extremely cruel. And other kinds of entertainment. It's just, this is not entertainment. It's not entertainment to wield dominance over another vulnerable and docile species. And again, I understand that the people who are here as proponents, they see it as their way of life. You know, they bring money into the equation as if that matters. Yes, people need to survive, but surviving off of a cruel and exploitative industry is not okay. And so a lot of us are here to speak out to let the animals have a voice, because these are the victims that are trying to be silenced. Thank you guys so much for continuing to stay here. You do not have to be a resident of California just to have your voice heard. I think that it's important that these supervisor members understand that this is an issue that is broader than just Alameda County, that no matter where the rodeo goes, we want them to understand that there are people all around the world who don't want rodeos to exist, that understand that this is a cruel industry. So the more voices that we can have, the better. The more people speaking out for the animals, the better. So no, you don't have to be a resident of California. Great, thank you. It's from Missouri, from Portugal, from wherever you are. Share this live stream. Call in. Get in the line, raise your hand when they bring up item 101 that you want to give a public comment to let them know that you support the ordinance. Again, this is not just an issue of something that's only happening here. There are, I believe, 3 rodeos here in Alameda County, but there are countless rodeos all over the place. And we need to make sure that they understand that even if the rodeos were to leave Alameda County, if they go somewhere else, wherever they go, people are still going to be there to speak up for the animals. It's very important to have everybody's voice heard. They might care in the moment only about people who live, who are their constituents, but they need to think larger than that. They need to think broader than just Alameda County. So definitely, you can call in and just say that even if you don't want to give a long speech, because there are a lot of people here, if you call in and just say, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm calling to voice my support for the rodeo ordinance. That's all you need to say. Hello, I'm calling to voice my support for the rodeo ordinance. You don't have to say anything about yourself if you don't want to. You can say whatever you want. It's a public comment, and they will hear everybody. Now, the last time they had a meeting, there were so many of us that they actually did cut it off. They had to cut off because we were on the phone for hours. So we'll see how this goes. As long as my phone has battery, and I think I'm still doing good, so as long as you guys are all willing to stick in there with me, I will continue this live stream. Jackie from Scotland, I'm so glad that you're here. Share this live stream. Feel free to call in as well. It doesn't matter where you're joining us from. You can help the animals by calling in to the Alameda County. We're here in California, in Alameda County, at the administration building, here in support of the animals. We want their voice to be heard. We don't think that tradition or heritage or culture is an excuse for this. At the last meeting, a lot of the proponents, I heard over and over, it's the American way, it's the American way. Well, many of us Americans don't think that this is the American way. Cruelty should not be the American way, and we're not going to stand for it any longer. So thank you guys for being part of this. Thank you for staying on the live stream to do everything. This is a very long process. Government is always arduous. It's a lot of standing around and waiting. Once we do enter into the building, I will keep this live stream going as if it were the Zoom for the meeting, because we are not allowed to speak inside the meeting room. So I will have to go silent at that point, but you can watch the meeting as it transpires. You'll be able to hear everybody, and so again, I encourage everybody here to call in and make the public comment when the time comes for the item 101, the rodeo ordinance. Share this live stream. Talk to your friends about this. We'll see if they have a vote today. We could have an answer today on this ordinance. I'm hoping that we have an answer today, and you can be here to watch what happens. So I'm really excited about this. I really like to see all of your comments. If you have anything that you want to say, if you want me to explain again, if anybody is new here, what wild cow milking is. I don't know if you have wild cow milking as an event at any of your local rodeos or at any of your events. It's really quite strange. I hadn't heard about it before. But again, this is when they take a lactating mother cow, they release her out into the ring, where of course she's confused and scared. There are a lot of people in the stands, lights, so she starts running, and several adult males run after her. They capture her by putting their arms around her neck and twisting her neck. Another person will grab her tail and pull her tail. They want to slow her down enough, get control over her so that another grown adult goes and pulls on her teat and gets some of her milk that's meant for her babies and puts it into a beer bottle and then runs it over. So as fast as they can do this to this poor mother, then they win if they do it fast enough. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure who thought this was a great idea, but it's become sort of a sideshow in the rodeo. We want that banned. That is on the ordinance, as well as bucking straps and spurs, which are instruments that the cowboys use in order to make the animals perform a bucking action, trying to throw the person off, because it's a very uncomfortable strap. The proponents talk about how comfortable it is, that it's lined with wool and it doesn't cause them any discomfort. But if that were true, if it didn't cause them any discomfort, why would they be bucking? Why would they be performing a very unnatural act? And if you've ever seen it, oftentimes these horses and these bulls, they can break limbs. People get hurt all the time. There's a lot of violence in this sport, and it's seen as almost a pride when riders get injured, like, you know, they were able to take it. But there are so many animals that get injured. Legs are broken. You know, they get scratched up and bruised up, and I mean, the worst of it is death. There are animals who die routinely at these rodeos, and you know, you can try and look up records. Here, they must have a veterinarian on site, and they're mandated to report accidents that happen, but they don't. Oftentimes, things just simply don't get reported, and a lot of the veterinarians, you know, they're making money by being there. You know, they're there to provide help, but they look the other way as well. We know this. We've talked to people, and so things that are supposed to be reported don't get reported. So it's very hard to get true statistics about what happens. And even with that, we have seen statistics that are available, and they're horrible about what happens there. The other side would minimize what happens, but it's cruelty, plain and simple. So let's see. Yes, Alameda Administration Building. Yes, Renee, that is correct. Thank you so much, Kirsty. Thank you so much for that. I would love to talk to you with no mask on, but I'm inside the building right now, and it's mandatory. Every single person that is in here has a mask on, so I have to keep my mask on. Otherwise, I'd be asked to leave, and I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. I want to make sure that I'm able to bring you guys live inside the meeting so that you can hear what everybody has to say. And again, if you share this, make sure that you also are speaking up for the animals. You are able to make a difference today. If you stay with me, if you go online to the Alameda County, Oakland, California, Alameda County Board of Supervisors meeting for today, September 20th, you can find a way that you can call in call in and let them know that you support item 101, you support the rodeo ordinance. Yep, it is definitely a blood sport. Again, this all comes down to an idea of dominance. If you are going to be okay with human animals dominating themselves over non-human animals, but not in any sort of a fair way. You know, we have bred these animals to be as docile as possible, to make it easy for the humans to assert some sort of perceived dominance over them. So I'm really excited about going inside the meeting. If anybody's new, let me know in the comments. If you're new, I can go over why we're here today. We're hoping to be able to go inside the meeting very soon. Thank you guys for joining. There's a lot going on. People are abuzz. Let me turn the camera around so you can see what's happening here outside of the meeting place.
Yeah, exactly. There's like different methods of working. But like for me, it's like a traumatic event. I snap out of it. Others might just need to thank you so much. Yeah. Build a niche.
So there's a lot of people here. This is an important issue. You know, both sides are very passionate about this. One side wants to maintain their heritage. They want to keep up their traditions of old. The other side is speaking up for the animals, saying that your tradition should not dictate the lives of others. They're forgetting who the victim is here. They don't even see them as victims. They, on one hand, will say that they love these animals. They treat them better than they treat themselves. That these animals are very well cared for. But it's definitely a skewed view of things. I do believe that they believe that. But if you really look at what's going on, that's just, you know, that's what abusers do. Abusers will say that they love someone while they're abusing them. And the animals, they don't have a choice. It's not like they are set out and they are allowed to make a choice about whether they want to do this. They don't have any choice in performing these unnatural acts. So this ordinance, we're hoping that it passes today. We're going to vote on it. Let me see here. So, thank you, Renee. Yes, animals are not ours to exploit in any way. I really appreciate everybody being here and sticking with me. This is going to be a little bit of a long live stream. We are outside the meeting room right now. We've been here for quite a while, waiting for them to let us in. When we get inside, it's going to have to be, I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. I'm just going to have this live stream going so that you can see what's happening inside the meeting. Please share the live stream. If anybody has any questions, if you just joined us, I'm happy to go over why we're here today. I can also see if anybody has anything else to say, but we're all just sort of waiting. This is what politics is. It's a lot of standing around and waiting. But we're happy to do it. We're happy to be here in order to protect these animals, have their voices be heard today. Make sure if you've just joined us, let me know that you're here in the comments. Make sure that you share this live stream. If you're able to, go to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors website. And somebody did put the link, I believe, in the comments if you want to find it there. Alameda County, we're in California, Oakland, California. Alameda County Board of Supervisors regular meeting. You can make a difference. You can call in and have your voice be heard. So it might take a little while, but please stick with us. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, that we're speaking up for the animals and letting the Board of Supervisors know that this is an issue, that people in Alameda County and all over the world are against rodeos, no matter whether it's your tradition, history, culture. That's never been a good excuse. to continue violence. So thank you guys for staying with me. Again, make sure you can see. There's lots of people here ready to speak up. We'll see what happens. I'm really hoping that there's a vote today on this ordinance. There was a meeting previously where a lot of us called in and they were supposed to vote on the ordinance at that time. Unfortunately, it got pushed off. Or fortunately, because now you're all here. Thank you guys for being here. Whatever you're doing with your day, please, if you can stay on this live stream, share it, and make sure that you are ready to call in for item 101 and let this Board of Supervisors know that you support the rodeo ordinance. Thank you guys so much. I do apologize if there's a little bit of issue with the video. Just want to make sure I'm addressing everybody's comments. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see if we can talk to all of the people that are here. Hi guys. Hey. Do you mind saying why you're here today?
Anybody with a blue speaker slip, I need you in the
I'm
front
here
of the
today
hall.
to show support for
Before you open the door,
animals who
Rhonda,
are
I'll make a quick announcement.
and
So she's given
Me.
all of you slips that have slips for the amount of seats we have in the room. If you do not have a seat, please do not enter the room. You will have to go across the street in the overflow room in our training center, and one of our staff is gonna walk you over, but only folks with a slip will be able to enter this room. Okay, Rhonda.
All right, luckily I have a slip, so we're going to go inside. We're lining up now to be able to go inside the meeting. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please let me know in the comments. Please stay with us. Once we enter into this building, into this meeting, I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. So it's just going to be a live stream of the meeting happening. You can listen in. Please make sure that you share in the comments the fact that it's item 101, the rodeo ordinance. You can call in and let the animals know that you care about this, that you're speaking up for them. It's all that they have. All right, we're filing in now, so I'm going to have to turn the camera around, and it's going to be quiet from here on out. Guys, thank you so much for being part of this. Please stay with the live stream and make sure that you put in the comments what you're thinking about what's happening. Thank you so much.
But it was so natural.
All right, Rhonda, I'm going in just to make sure everybody can see the open seats.
One right here.
Let's just make sure we have all the other seats. There's one on the end, ma'am, right there. Oh, it's on the end. Now, see, that one says reserved for department heads. Okay. So, raise your hand if you have have a seat open next to you with no tape. Okay, we got one over there, one over here.
He just went to the bathroom.
Oh, he went to the restroom. Yeah. Let's take the reserve off of that one over there, and then in that reserve over there. Yep. And then let's go, which is this? Oh, okay, he's not here. Sorry, COVID has just jacked us all up. It really has. Okay, we'll take 2 of the department heads out. They'll sit somewhere else. Okay. Here. Here. This one? Okay, yeah, go there. They say it's over. Yeah. Tell that to the 3 people that got into this building this week.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. I did not know that. All right, no more.
Thank you guys so much for continuing to be here on the live stream. We're inside the meeting room right now waiting for the Board of Supervisors to arrive. Please make sure that you're sharing this live stream.
Thank you. Come out your sweat, or do you like your council? You what? Council to fill out your sweat? Fill out your speaker sweat? You did. Anybody that coordinating one-on-one? Order. Anybody coordinate these one-on-one? I got you. Anybody that does not want to be part of the coordination of this slip, that wants to go without the group. If she's coordinating them, she's gonna put them in order. But if you do not want to be part of that, I'll just keep them as they are. Random step for me.
Thank you guys all for being here. Again, I can't really talk because we're inside the meeting and everybody needs to maintain decorum. But I thank you for sticking with this live stream. Please make sure that you're sharing it. We're in Alameda County, California, Board of Supervisors meeting to support the rodeo ordinance. Renee, I totally understand what you're saying. The issue here is that the people who are proponents of the rodeo believe wholeheartedly that they love their animals, that they're not doing absolutely anything that's wrong. They can't see it. They've been raised in this. They were born into it, being told that it was okay.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
When you've been told your entire life that something is good and right, it can be very difficult to have others tell you that what you're doing is wrong. They're unable to look outside of what they've been taught, and so all we can do is stand up, speak out, and let the animals' voices be heard. Well, they're telling us that we're allowed to talk, so I will do so. Thank you guys so much for being part of this live stream. Thank you for joining. Please make sure to share. You can see here we're in the county. This is where we are, County of Alameda, California, at the Board of Supervisors meeting, where they are set to vote on an ordinance that would ban wild cow milking, spurs, bucking straps, and non-release ropes. There are a lot of people here. There are so many that they had to have many people go to an overflow room where they will watch this meeting happen. So you guys have a front row seat, and I'm going to keep this live stream going so that you can hear what everybody has to say. Thank you so much, Joyce, for being here as well. I really appreciate you guys sticking through this live stream. A lot of times we want to make sure that you're getting to see the action, but this is a Board of Supervisors meeting, which of course can be very boring, but this is about a very not boring issue. The idea of rodeos and what happens at rodeos. There are people who are going to give lengthy talks about different issues at this meeting, and what we are here for is item 101, the rodeo ordinance. Anybody is welcome to call in and give their public comment. Please let me know if you're new to the live stream. Give me a comment so I know that you're here. And let me know if you have any questions about what's going on. There's not a lot of action because we are inside the Board of Supervisors meeting room. I'm going to maintain this live stream so that you can hear what everybody has to say on both sides, and hopefully this will go to a vote today, and you will get to hear the outcome. Just to reiterate the items that are on the ordinance, there is an event at rodeos here in Alameda County called wild cow milking, where grown adult men chase after a lactating mother cow. They try to get her under control by means of force so that another grown man can milk her into a beer bottle and then run that bottle to an area ending the event. So as fast as they can get this lactating mother under control and milk her into a bottle, they win. That is the wild cow milking event. Non-release ropes are ropes that are used to lasso baby cows and tie them so that they cannot get up. So a cowboy on a horse will run after the calf, lasso them, often causing them great injury to their necks, to their limbs. They force them to the ground and tie them up. No matter how tight it is, they cannot get loose until somebody loosens them. So this would ban those non-release ropes where the animal is unable to release themselves. The bucking straps, which the proponents say are harmless, that they're very soft, they don't actually cause the animals any pain. Those are used to tie around their midsection and make the animal uncomfortable so that they will buck. If these were such peaceful, gentle, soft tools being used to make the horse buck, the animal would not do so. And in fact, we know this because when the bucking straps are not used, the animals don't buck. So this is a very unnatural act that these animals are forced to perform. They have no choice in the matter. Sometimes they take matters into their own hands, as we've seen many times at rodeos where animals and people get injured, sometimes very severely, sometimes to death, as animals try and escape the rodeo ring, or they trample on people. People have been gored, people have been severely injured, the animals have been severely injured. And lastly, the spurs, which the proponents say are not very sharp. So then why are they even necessary? If these animals were willing participants, you wouldn't need to whip and kick and prod them to do the action that they're being forced to perform. So again, thank you guys so much for being here on the live stream. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments and I will address them. We're here to give public comment and support for item 101 on the County of Alameda Board of Supervisors rodeo ordinance.
Yeah, it's not opening.
It's not looking for it?
No, could you screenshot?
Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Marshall, I understand, on our side it can be very frustrating because we're seeing things from the perspective of the non-human animal, wanting them to be safe, happy, and free from pain, free from exploitation. But you do need to understand that the proponents who are here, this is all they've ever known. They've been raised in this. They've been indoctrinated to believe that what they're doing is natural and good. And so it's just a matter of appealing to people, letting them know that the animals deserve not to be exploited, not to be made to do things that they don't want to do. It's okay if you love the animal, but then just love them. You can give an animal love without exploiting them. And so that's why we're here today, is to speak up for the animals. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure that you share this. Thank you for your comment, Raj. I appreciate everybody being here. It looks like we might be getting started soon. We're waiting for the Board of Supervisors to arrive, and then I will not be able to speak at all while we listen to everybody. They've collected all of our slips of paper that say if we are in support or opposed to item 101, the rodeo ordinance. You can see that stack of blue papers is part of the slips that they had us fill out, and it's my understanding that they're going to announce there's some more. So see all those blue slips of paper are people who want to give comment. Thank you, Raj. Yes, we cannot look back into our history for moral acts. History, tradition, culture, these are no excuses to continue with acts that are violent and cruel. Absolutely, Michael. We are all animals. We are only one of the many species on this planet. We have just asserted dominance in so many ways over others. We don't like it when it's done to us. Why are we okay with it being done to them? thank you all for being here. I know that this is not one of the more exciting live streams. This is politics. It's a waiting game. Sitting and waiting for the Board of Supervisors to arrive, at which time I won't be able to speak at all. Please make sure that you're also calling in so that you can give your public comment from wherever you're at. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. Please make sure to share it. Marshall, thank you for joining us from Canada. We are currently in Oakland, California, which is the county of Alameda. Right there, county of Alameda, California. You can go online to the county of Alameda website, go to the Board of Supervisors regular meetings, their regular meetings. This is September 20th, 2022. Board of Supervisor meeting. If you click on the link, you'll find instructions on how to call in. Anybody can call in. You don't have to be a resident of Alameda County. It's important that these Board of Supervisors understand that this issue is greater than the county of Alameda, and that there are people all over the world that care about this issue, and that eyes are on them. That's the other thing. A lot of times, these kind of local politicians can get myopic in their view, seeming to care only about their own constituents, forgetting that we're all part of something much greater. Renee, thank you so much. Your comment is so important, and I hope that you're able to call in and give public comment, because a lot of times the proponents like to use the idea that people on our side don't know what we're talking about. You know, we don't know what it means to raise these animals. We don't know what it means to be in the rodeo. But so many of us have done this. So many of us have raised these animals. There are a lot of people who were once in the rodeo who are now on the side of the animals. And so it's really, really important that people who have a history of being involved in these industries speak up to say that you do understand. You understand what it's like to be mired in this, and that there's a way out. There's a way of compassion. There's a way that we can all work together. I really can't thank you guys enough for sticking with us here on this live stream. Oh, it looks like we may have it. One Board of Supervisor at least coming out and putting their items down. Politics takes time. Everything is slow, 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 slow. But we're willing to stick with it. We're absolutely willing to take whatever amount of time is necessary to make sure that the animals have a voice, that we're speaking up for them. And I'm so grateful to have everybody on this live stream. Sometimes activism is very exciting and there's a lot going on, and sometimes it's this. Sometimes we have to be patient and sit around, but doing so pays off in the end. If If you're new on this live stream, make sure that you comment so I know that you're here. I can answer any questions that anybody has. We're just sitting around waiting for the Board of Supervisors to show up and start the meeting. It is set to begin at 9:30, and I believe it is 9:29, so we're on the cusp of having the meeting start. Thank you, Renee. Renee says there's no such thing as boring if it's helping to save the animals. And that's exactly right. We have to have patience. Animal rights activism is a marathon, not a sprint. We have another board member arriving. For anyone who's just joining us, we are at the County of Alameda in California Board of Supervisors meeting. This is a regular meeting that can be found online. I believe that's Keith Carson, who's just showed up, the president of the Board of Supervisors. Sorry, there's somebody standing up right in front of him. So we have 3 of the 5 board members present.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors regular board meeting for September the 20th is now in session. Speakers joining the meeting via teleconference, please unmute your microphone. So clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Howard.
Present.
Supervisor Baye. Excused. Supervisor Brown. Here. Supervisor Miley. Excused. President Carson.
Present. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Conducting the Board of Supervisors meeting via teleconference in response to the state of emergency arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to go on record that Supervisor Baye has joined us in person to provide for social distancing and protect the health and safety of the public and of our valued employees. The board chambers are open to the public at reduced capacity. The County of Alameda recognizes the important and valuable role that the public participation plays in government. Be reminded that disruptive conduct that renders orderly conduct of the meeting unfeasible will not be tolerated. This includes disruptive conduct that may occur through public comment. The chair will order the removal of individuals who are willfully disrupting the meeting so that the meeting may continue in an orderly manner. For those attending the meeting in person, if you'd like to speak on an item that's on the agenda, or doing public comment, please submit a speaker card to the clerk. so that your name can be called to speak at the appropriate place in the agenda. Clerk will now provide brief instructions on how to verbally participate in public comment throughout online teleconference.
Detailed instructions are provided in the teleconferencing guidelines. A link to the document is included in today's agenda. If you are joining the meeting using a computer, use the button at the bottom of your screen to raise your hand to request to speak. When called to speak, please unmute your microphone and state your name. If you are calling in, dial *9 to raise your hand to speak. When you are called to speak, the host will enable you to speak. If you decide not to speak, notify the clerk when your call is unmuted, or you may simply hang up and dial back into the meeting. As a reminder, you may always just observe the meeting without participating by clicking on the View Now link on the county's webpage at hcgov.org. When called, you will have 2 minutes to speak. Please limit your remarks to the time allocated. Public comments will generally alternate between in-person and online speakers as determined by the president of the board and subject to overall time limits. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll now take public comment on all items listed on the agenda with the exception of those listed at the 11 o'clock set matter. Public comment on items listed at the 11 o'clock set matter will be taken up after the item is called for the presentation and the discussion. Clerk, do you have any public speakers for any items that's not on the 11 o'clock set matter?
Yes, there are speakers on this item. We will look at the first speaker and alternate between in-person and online speakers as necessary.
Okay.
Please state your name.
And again, this is for everything that's not on the 11 o'clock set matter.
Hi. My name is Lisa Galan. Good morning. Thank you for listening to us. We are over 2,000 mental health therapists that are on strike currently with Kaiser Permanente. Our strike is really for the good of our patients. We're looking to see that the state of California follow up with the laws that are in place for mental health parity. And for you to please urge the governor to intervene in this strike. We've been on strike for 6 weeks, and this is for the public good. We really need mental health services in California for all of our Californian residents. Northern California, Kaiser right now is on strike for 6 weeks, and it's really about following the law. We really want our patients to receive services within 10 days of asking for an intake, and then there's also laws to have them follow up care in an adequate amount of time, and we just have not been receiving that from Kaiser. I know many of your employees with Alameda County, and of course many of the residents of Alameda County have Kaiser services, and so we really ask that you participate in this and support us in our cause and try to get us off this strike line and get your constituents their mental health services that they need. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, I want to highlight that this is public comment on anything that is on today's agenda item. So please, hopefully that you'll stay with the items that are listed on today's agenda item, which are quite lengthy.
Please state your name, the city you live in, and which item you are speaking on. You will have 2 minutes to speak on the item. Maria, you're on.
Good morning. I'm a resident of Oakland, Alameda
County, and this is a comment on all of your agendas. I do not consent to using electronic machines to count my ballots. I do not consent to giving away.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it, but we're really staying with the items that are on today's agenda, and if you give us the item number, then you can continue, but otherwise, I'm sorry.
Please state your name, the city you live in, and which item you are speaking on. You are on the line. PWT, you're on the line.
Yes, my name is Pete Taylor. I currently live in Ione, California, but I've been an Oakland resident for most of my life until recently. I'm speaking in opposition to item number 5.8.
I'm sorry, but that's a set matter that will be taken up at 11 o'clock. You have every opportunity to call back at that time.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm sure, thank you again. And I know it's going to take a few times for me to say this, and I'm sorry to be disruptive. We have a very lengthy item. We have a responsibility to check here at 11 o'clock. We're now taking any public comment that is on today's agenda items. And I hope that maybe if you get ready to speak, you'll say specifically which item you're speaking to.
Again, please state your name, the city you live in, and which item on the agenda that you are speaking on. Education team, you're on the line.
It's not on the agenda, but it's really important that this body please contact the governor.
We know that it's important, and we don't want to be disrespectful. We know it's important, but we have a lot of items that we are constitutionally supposed to address, and they're on the written agenda today. And I know that the other items are very important as well, but they're not under our constitutional oversight.
Do not raise your hand yet. We are not talking yet.
For the speakers who are calling regarding items not on today's agenda but within the jurisdiction of the body, your place, the comment is listed on the agenda and it will occur later in the meeting. It's just not occurring at this time.
Thank you. Items only on the agenda. Public comment will be taken up at the very end of the meeting.
Please state your name, which city you live in, the item you are speaking on the agenda. You're on the line, Kathy.
Yes, my name is Kathy Park. I live in Oakland. I'm speaking on agenda item number 101, the proposed ordinance.
As Supervisor Carson has indicated, this time is not for the 11 o'clock set matters. This is for all other items on the agenda. So
Could you be more specific and tell us where that it is explained to us when we read teleconferencing guidelines as opposed to when we get to the meeting and are told this initially in the public comment?
yeah, it is announced at the start of the meeting that we are taking public comment on that item because it's set at 11 o'clock. So we can't take that item. Because on the agenda it is set at 11 o'clock, we can't take that item before 11 o'clock. So we'll take public comment.
And that time period was posted on this past Thursday in the 72-hour notice time period. No, I'm sorry.
That's for us, guys, so our item is going to not be until 11 o'clock.
Please state your name, the city you live in, and which item you are speaking on the agenda. You're on the line. Yes, you're on the line.
Hi there, my name is Jessica Vizio. I'm calling in from Castro Valley, but I do believe that Supervisor Miley just let us know that 101 is for the 11 o'clock for public comments, so I'll save it for then.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Please state your name, the city you live in, and which
Please let me know in the comments if you understand that the rodeo ordinance is not happening until 11 o'clock.
George, please unmute your mic.
It's for 11 o'clock, so I had to, I understand.
Okay, thank you very much. We're aware that a lot of people this may be one of your first times to our meeting. We do try to follow protocol for the Brown Act regulations, and we do try to post well in advance so people will be aware. But we know that a lot of people may not have participated before, so appreciate that.
Please state your name, Catherine, you're on the line, and which city you live in. Which item on the agenda you are speaking on?
I would like to speak to 114, but I don't understand what's set and what's not, or what is pertinent here. Okay, so one thing I do want to remind you as terms of Brown Act is that you cannot ask for people's names. So if you could refrain from doing that. And I'm in San Leandro. I just want to remind you there's sufficient evidence to show that the Board of Supervisors and the Sheriff have not performed their duty under the statute, and at minimum examine the conditions in the county as pertaining to the local health emergency and the local emergency. And they haven't presented to the public these conditions or conducted a proper vote to continue the emergency, which is required the California Health and Safety Code 10.10.80 and Government Code Section 8630. As a result, the due process rights and the constitutionally guaranteed rights of county constituents of Alameda County have been trampled on. Additionally, the life, liberty, and property of county constituents has languished under these states of emergency. And as of now, harms and damages to the county constituents continue to occur, including takings under the eviction moratorium, abridgment of speech, assembly, and redress, abridgment of free exercise of religion, denial of health services, omission of important information regarding known life-saving treatments of COVID-19, denial of education services, discriminatory policies, and blocking the public from business and public meetings and buildings, business closures, job loss, school closures and loss of learning, increases of suicide, drug overdoses, and domestic violence, increase of harmful and addictive behaviors, drug and alcohol abuse, increased uptake of antidepressants and others for mental health problems, increase of excess debt, abdication of duties to the state and allowing the violation of 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 10th Amendment rights, fraud, disturbance, jeopardy.
Thank you very much.
Please remember, anybody who's calling in, that you only have 2 minutes and exactly 2 minutes to make your comment.
You're on the line.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Carla Guerra, Policy and Advocacy Manager at the Unity Council in Oakland District 3. I would like to comment on item 6 on the agenda. That is on the regular agenda, I believe. We would like to thank the Board, Social Services, and Agency on Aging for the approval of community-based organizations contracts to provide senior activities at the Fruitvale Senior Center. It is critical funding that these will help and benefit the mental, physical health, and well-being of our seniors. We appreciate the Board and your partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Caller, please state your name.
For everybody who's on here, we are not commenting on the rodeo until 11 o'clock. Hopefully you're able to go about your day while staying on this live stream. Make sure to comment if you have any questions.
Miguel Hayes, you're on the line. Please unmute your mic.
Good morning. My apologies. My name is Celine Angel Hayes. I'm in Oakland, California. I'm calling in to speak on item 66. Is that permissible at this time?
Yes.
Thank you. I am here on behalf of EEI Oakland LLC regarding the purchase of 286 14th Street. I'm just appreciative of the staff recommendation to approve the sale, and I'm available for any questions from the board at the time of the discussion later today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Paula, please state your name, the city you live in, which item on the agenda you received.
Thank you all for joining this live stream. Don't forget to share. We're here in support of item 101, the rodeo ordinance.
Good morning.
But we are not speaking until 11 o'clock.
I live in Castro Valley. 114 continues to be on the consent calendar. The definition of consent calendar, as I recall, is that it be a non-controversial item that's been discussed many times and is easy to vote on, I guess, because you know all the information. My request is that this 114 be removed from the consent calendar and that some intelligent debate be done about social distancing, particular social distancing. Given that Dr. Birx has told the world that she made that up, you can find no research, scientific or otherwise, on the benefits of social distancing unless you want to go into mental health, unless you want to go into relationships between peoples and their family. Social distancing is a crock of blank. No evidence. Move 114 to a discussion area out of consent calendar. It is time. It is 2.5+ years that you are controlling us beyond what is expected of you to do as our leaders, as the people that we voted, maybe, to put into office to make decisions on how to run our county to the best for the people within the county. None of this works for the best of the people in the county as far as evidence goes. Unless, again, you want to get into mental health issues of suicide and whatnot. So bring that out, get it out of the closet, bring it into the front room so that it can be discussed. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no more speakers.
Thank you. This time, seeing that there are no more speakers on any item that's on today's regular agenda item, we'll recess it to closed session.
Need approval of minutes?
Oh, yeah, we can do that first.
President, I move approval of regular meeting minutes July 19, 2022, and special meeting August 9, 2022.
Second. It's been moved by Supervisor Halbert, seconded by Supervisor Baye to approve the minutes of the regular meeting for July the 19th, 2022, regular board meeting to August 9, 2022, special meeting minutes. Are there any questions or comments, discussion regarding any of those items? Any public comment on any of those? With that, roll call, please.
Thank you guys for joining again. I hope you can hear me. Alameda County Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yes.
Supervisor Miley?
Yes.
President Carter?
Yes.
Waiting to be able to speak at 11 o'clock, give public comment about the rodeo ordinance item 101. Alright guys, I'm not sure why there is a break going on right now. They've only been going for a few minutes and now the Board of Supervisors are already leaving. Maybe they allot a certain amount of time thinking that there might be more public comments on items that were in the previous agenda, but we are here for item 101 that apparently they're going to allow public comment at 11 o'clock for that item. I really appreciate everybody sticking with this live stream. Hopefully you can go about your day doing things that you need to do while keeping this live stream going, because we have over an hour before we're going to be able to give speaking on this agenda item. Everybody is maintaining a decorum of quiet in the meeting, but I'm trying to make sure that I am available if you have any questions. I'm not sure how many people are new. If you're new to this live stream and are just joining us now, if you might have questions, please put those questions in the comments so that I can address them. Thank you, Renee. That is correct. It's oftentimes very frustrating in these meetings. It's not made particularly clear when public comment is going to be made for different agenda items. So sometimes they want people to speak right away. Sometimes they want people to speak just prior to each item. Sometimes they wait, like now. They had some in the beginning, and then they're going to have some at 11 o'clock. The item for which we are all here, this place is packed. They only have so many seats available, but there were so many more of us. They allowed some of us to come in, and everybody else who is here is in an overflow room. So it's a packed session today because this is a very passionate item that we're talking about. People who are proponents of the rodeo see this as their livelihood. They see this as their way of life. They see this as their heritage, their culture. They see this as being something that is very good. It brings in money. And so, we all care about money. And they see it as something that is necessary for everybody. They see it as entertainment. They see this as a very good thing to bring children to and raise them to believe is good. We are on the other side of that. We do not think that rodeos have any place in this society or any society. These animals are not there by their own will. The animals are forced to be there. The rodeo proponents say that they love these animals, that they care for them deeply, that they take better care of the animals than they do themselves. And they might believe that. I believe that they believe that. But it doesn't make it true. You can both love someone and care for them and also abuse them. But they don't see it that way. I think they see it as sort of a give and take. I'm giving them a happy life, and therefore they are giving me entertainment in return. The issue is it's not a consensual thing. The animals did not give consent to be able to be used in this way, the way that other humans are able to give consent. And that's a whole other issue, because there are plenty of people who are being forced to do things that they don't want to do. So we want to speak up against all of these things, all of the ways that human animals and non-human animals alike are abused and exploited. We want to let California County of Alameda Board of Supervisors know that the time for rodeos is over. Again, if you're new to this live stream, please let me know in the comments so I can say hello. And I want to thank everybody once again for being here, for being on this live stream. I'm going to stay with this so that you can see everything that's going on in the meeting. There may be times when you'll see a little bit of a pause. There may be times, sorry, that somebody started watching something, I guess, but they've left. Again, you might see times where there's a little bit of a pause in this video. Specifically, you might see a pause if I am able to get up and give my public comment, because I cannot both have the live stream going and have my comment up on my screen in order to be able to read it out. I will keep this live stream going so that you can hear everybody on both sides of the aisle give their public comment. And again, I encourage everybody who's on this live stream to share it. You can go about your day while keeping the live stream going, and at 11 o'clock in 1 hour, they're going to start public comment on item 101, the rodeo ordinance. If anybody would like me to go over again what exactly is in the rodeo ordinance, I can do so. If you have any general questions, please feel free to put them in the comments and I'll address any questions that you have. We want to make sure that we're getting as many people as possible to call in support of the rodeo ordinance item number 101. Renee, thank you for calling in and leaving a message. They will hear it. They're going to be voting. Supposedly they're going to be voting today on this issue. So it's really important that people give their comments right now during the meeting so that hopefully we can appeal to the Board of Supervisors to make the right decision. Whenever we come to these things, it's best if you try to think about things from the perspective of your opponent. And it's not even really wonderful to think of them as an opponent. It's best if we think of each other as our fellow human beings, each of whom has been exposed to different things. I was not always on this side, and that's unfathomable to me now. But if you think back who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'm sure that you have changed as a person yourself. So it's just a matter of keeping your mind open. And
nothing's happening until 11.
10:45, we don't open back up, but that item did not take place until 11 on that.
Thank you.
We can put our coat on the chair and come back in.
Yeah, you put it on the chair and you're fine.
so we're being told that we can leave the meeting room and come back later since it's an hour from now. So we might be doing that. The issue is, I don't have anything to put on my chair to hold my chair. So what we're being told now is that, nothing is going to be happening until at the very earliest 10:45 is kind of when we would be able to come back into the room, and then at 11 o'clock they're going to start up again. So people are just trying to find a way to put on their chair, some kind of marker. Thank you so much. All right. All right, so this is the agenda for today. And gosh, if you could see this thing, I'm holding my phone with one hand. That's a pretty thick agenda right there. I'm going to put this right here. This is my chair. I tried to get as close up to the front as I possibly could. I think people will be good about making sure that we can come to the same chair. That's my chair right there. So I'm going to go out so I can talk to you guys a little bit more. Again, I really can't thank you guys enough for being part of this live stream.
You can leave your hoodie on the chair so you won't get it.
Yeah. Alright, so people are just kind of trying to figure out what the best thing to do is.
So just so you know, we're not holding seats.
Right.
Okay.
Alright, well that changes things a little bit because we were just given conflicting information. We were definitely just given conflicting information. We were told that we could leave items on our seat as sort of a place marker so that we had a seat. And now they're telling us that they are not holding seats.
I put my jacket on it.
So yeah.
That's enough.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're not going to hold the seats. So I'm not sure that we're going to leave. We might just kind of stay right here. I don't know.
Let me say it again, let me make it clear for everybody because I misspoke. They are not saving your seat. So if you leave, someone has to stay to hold your seat.
Okay.
Why do you stay next to it? They will only
All right.
hold you when you go to the website.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going to stay put right where we were originally. The thought was that if we put something as a place marker for a seat, that it would be held for us.
He's my guy.
If not, we'll kick it.
I'm going to turn around a little bit so I can actually talk to you guys since we have a little bit of time. Again, I'm really grateful, so appreciative of everybody to be part of this live stream. It's going to be a long haul. We've got almost an hour to wait before we're able to give public comment on the rodeo ordinance. In that time, I'll do my best to keep you guys informed. Hopefully you're having a great day. Hopefully you're able to get a lot done, but also stay on this live stream. This is a very important issue. You know, whatever people who are proponents of the rodeo have to say, ultimately this comes down to dominance, the domination of one species over another species. I'm not quite sure what we can say to get through, but it's very helpful. Excuse me, it's very helpful if people who have had experience in this industry can help speak up, maybe open the eyes of the people who are part of this. I try to look at it from a psychological standpoint, the idea that for some people, they never had access to this. Whatever thing it might be, people who don't have access to that thing, oftentimes once they get access through whatever means possible, then all of a sudden, whatever that thing is, because they now have access to it, they hold on to it dearly. So from a psychological standpoint, I understand that. Even though they themselves might have been subjugated at one point, now they're able to subjugate someone else, and they're part of a system that once subjugated them, and so they hang on to that. I get that from a psychological standpoint, I really do. To me, it's the same as people who, when perhaps they were young, and this is what I'm going to say in my comment, is perhaps sometimes, you know, when people are young and they get abused, and then they grow, then they go to school, and now they see themselves in a position of power where they can now abuse somebody else. You know, they got hurt, and so now they're going to put that hurt onto others. And we have to have compassion for that. We have to understand that psychologically, this is understandable. When you've been raised in these environments, if you've been told by the people who love you the most that what you're doing is right, that what you're doing is part of who you are as a very person, then of course you're going to hang on to it. Of course you're going to think that it's okay. How can you not? You know, if that is the essence of who you are, and now outsiders are coming over and telling you that you're a bad person for doing the very thing that you were raised to believe is right, that's scary, and it can be very angering to people. They're going to be defensive. They're going to want to stand up for what they've been taught is right. So, Joyce, thank you. Empathy and compassion must be taught since early childhood. Everything must be taught, really. I mean, I do think about the idea of just, you know, if you were plopped into the woods, what would happen? You know, would you live in conjunction with the nature around you? Would you start murdering for sustenance? But we're not in this, you know, my head starts going to those places, but we're not in those situations. You know, we're not fighting for our very lives at this moment. And so perhaps talking about history and culture, perhaps 100, 200, however many 100 years ago, 400 years ago, when people started ranching, you know, they saw certain aspects as necessary. Maybe they felt that they did have to lasso animals to get them under control. Again, I mean, still this stems from the idea that the human animal is asserting dominance over the non-human animal. So wrangling or you know, getting the animals to a certain place at a certain time. You know, sometimes the proponents will talk about the safety of the animals, that they must do it for the safety of the animals. Well, that might be true in very rare circumstances, but that's not what the rodeo is. This is not some life-saving, you're not roping the animal for life-saving measures. They have taken some of the ideas of ranching, some of the items that are necessary, dare I say necessary, for ranching, and they've turned it into to entertainment, and that's just not okay, to use the animals in this way. Again, I fall back on, if this were something that were enjoyable to everybody, if the animals were there consensually and having fun truly, maybe we could think about this in another way. But this is just sheer brute force on these animals. This is just absolutely non-consensual. Oh, Dr. Crystal Heath has just arrived.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting there.
There's...
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Heath.
Hello. I'm unclear. Can I sign up there to speak?
Good question. They were passing out blue slips of paper for everybody to sign. So that is Dr. Crystal Heath. She's very active in many ways. She was herself a rodeo queen, so she has intimate knowledge of this industry and what happens. So grateful for her to be here and to be able to speak up. Again, one of the things that this industry tends to use is the idea that all of us on this side don't know what we're talking about because it's not our heritage, it's not our culture. We don't know what it means, and we want to dispel that myth that a lot of people who are in this movement for animal rights are in it precisely because we were part of industries that used and abused animals. We saw it firsthand, maybe even did things with our own hands, and are now on the other side for the animals, speaking up for them, saying no more, that we're not going to stand for any kind of abuse or exploitation. I would love to hear from you guys on the live stream. If you want to put in the comments how you feel about things, ask me any questions. I want to make sure that this is as interactive as possible. We've got a lot of time to fill here, and I want to make sure that you guys are feeling engaged, that you understand what's happening. I really do think that the only way that we're going to progress forward is if we have the hard discussions, if we actually talk with the rodeo proponents. And I'm not sure how many of you were able to watch the live streams that happened recently in Utah. Several of us went out to Utah last week, I think it was. So we went to Utah because it was when the trial that is upcoming against Wayne Shung and Paul Darwin Picklesheimer versus Smithfield Foods. That trial is happening next month in Utah. It'll be October 3rd through maybe the 11th, something around that time. Please go make sure you're looking up that trial as well. You can participate via live stream, watching live streams. There will be things that you can do if you go to dxe.io/Utah trial. I hope you can hear me. Hopefully, if somebody can hear me, if you want to put in the comments dxe.io/Utah trial, there's more information there. But anyway, we were in Utah because originally the trial was going to be happening in this month, and so we were going to go out there to be support and to do some protests and just have dialogue with people, but the trial did end up getting moved, and I can talk about that a little bit if people want to know about that. So basically Smithfield Foods is the largest pork producer in the world. They are owned by an even larger conglomerate organization, and they have a farm called Circle 4 Farms, is owned by Smithfield Foods. Several activists went to Circle 4 Farms to document conditions on that farm, which were horrific. And if you look at Operation Death Star, you can go on any platform and look at hashtag Operation Death Star, and lots of videos will come up. The video that was taken inside the farm to document the conditions is being suppressed. So during the trial, they won't be able to show the footage. They won't even be able to show pictures or talk about any animal cruelty. It's a very interesting case. If you don't know about it, I encourage everybody to go online and look up the Utah trial, the Smithfield Foods trial, happening in Utah next month. Anyway, we were there in Utah just recently, and there was a live stream between Wayne and a rancher named Trent. He raises pigs for meat consumption, and it was a very interesting debate. I think it's good to listen to the other side. How are we ever going to learn if we don't listen to people who are on the other side? We have to be able to connect with them in order to hopefully change their mind about things. If we're constantly just always butting heads, we're never going to get anywhere. So it's really important that we try to understand where they're coming from. I used to work in scientific research. I worked in a laboratory. I was in charge of the mouse colony. I did vivisection every day. And when I woke up and became an animal rights activist, I would, and still do, often hear people who call me basically a monster. People don't understand how anybody could do X, Y, and Z. Well, so many of us did horrible things, but we didn't know. It's not that we're bad people. These people are not bad people. They were just raised to believe things that are bad. And so anybody who's in that situation has the capacity for change, but only if we're able to talk to them, only if we're able to have a discussion, and only if we're able to work together to come up with ways to make sure that the animals are being protected, that they have a say in things. So this rodeo ordinance is vital to making sure that we're protecting animals. And again, let me just say for the umpteenth time how incredibly happy I am to have everybody here on the live stream. I really want to make sure that people are sharing the live stream, that people are engaging with this live stream. Please make sure to comment. I like to know that you're still with me. I like to know if you want to hear about other things that are going on. Do you want more information? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it. It's a long haul here. I'm happy to talk about the upcoming Smithfield trial, as well as what's happening here in the county of Alameda. For anybody that's new, I'm just going to go over this one more time right now. We're in the county of Alameda, in Oakland, California, at the Board of Supervisors meeting. The board is going to vote on an ordinance that would ban certain aspects of the rodeo. So all the things that are on this ordinance are the banning of wild cow milking. If you don't know what that is, I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up, and in short, it is where they take a lactating mother cow, set her loose in the arena, and then grown men run after her, grab her by the neck, grab her by the tail, and try to slow her down enough so that another grown person can run over and milk her, get some of her milk into a beer bottle, and then take it to the end point. So however fast they can do that is who wins. It's not one of the main sports. It's not sanctioned by the pro rodeo circuit. It's just a sideshow done for entertainment between the other main agenda items. So that is up to be banned, as well as non-release ropes, spurs, and bucking straps. So all of these items are tools that are used in the rodeo industry to force the animals to do things that they don't want to do. So we want to make sure that the animals' voices are heard, that we are standing up for them and saying, please, yes, pass this ordinance, make these items banned from rodeo use. Let me see here. Yep, thank you, Sandra, for saying that. So many of us have been responsible for so much cruelty, but you know, we're born into it. We're born into a society that is shaped in a certain way, and it's going to take all of us working together to reshape society. Sorry, I get passionate about these things, so I start to get very loud when I'm very passionate, and people started to look at me, which is fine. You know, let's see. Joyce, thank you so much. I understand if you have to leave people, if you need to go and come back, I understand. I'm going to keep this live stream going. I'm going to see if I can find a way to charge my phone, because I'm actually worried my phone is going to die before 11 o'clock. So let me see. Oh, thank you. I see Michelle is in the overflow room in the law library across the street. Thank you for joining. I am going to have to see if I can find a portable charger or something to keep my phone. Renee, we all get very passionate, and we end up getting very loud. Pandora, thank you for joining us from the UK. Really appreciate it. Make sure you're sharing this live stream. I'm going to see if I can find a portable charger so that I don't lose you guys. So I'm going to turn this around and let you see what's going on while I try and find a portable charger. Does anybody have a portable charger? Anybody have a charger? But I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. I need a USB-C. That's okay. Do you know if anybody in our group, because otherwise I was at 100%, but I'm already down to 37%.
Well, I don't have a battery with me.
Yeah, I need a portable charger. I have one in my car, but it's over in that garage. Oh no, I didn't bring it with me. Alright guys, we're on a hunt to find a portable charger. Is it USB-C?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But then we've got to get this into fast.
Alright, well, we found a cord.
Is there a wall plugger? Because I could plug this into my computer.
Okay. Alright, we're going to see if we can get some charging happening on my phone, and then I will get back to speaking with you guys. I really appreciate everybody being here and sticking with this live stream. Again, we're not going to be able to speak until 11 o'clock, so everybody's committed to hanging in, and we have people coming and going. Yeah, it's charging. Alright, so thank you so much, Louis. So we are charging my phone right now. Thank you. So that I can stay with this live stream. I really appreciate everybody being here. Make sure that you're sharing this. If you need to leave the live stream and come back at 11 o'clock, that's totally understandable. Put this back on. So for anybody, if you need to go and come back at 11 o'clock, we're going to be giving public comment starting somewhere around 11 o'clock. So I encourage everybody that can to please at that time make sure that you go onto the website for the County of Alameda Board of Supervisors, the regular meeting for September 20th, and you can call in. You can call in, and then when they ask you, raise your hand, and you'll be able to give public comment yourself. So thank you guys so much. Again, you know, I just want to get back to the idea that none of us were born into perfect situations. We all had to learn things growing up. Some of us learned kindness and compassion. Other people, unfortunately, were not so lucky. Some people are born into situations where they themselves are being abused, and you know, it's understandable that oftentimes through life, if we've been abused ourselves, then people will turn to abusing others. And the rodeo industry it's an industry that looks towards the past, that looks towards the heritage and culture and ways that things have been done in the past. And we need to make sure that we're standing up for the animals and saying the future is where we all live in harmony, where animals are given the right to simply exist and not be exploited or abused or used for any form of entertainment. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Again, we're not going to be able to actually give public comment until 11 o'clock. But we had to get here very early. Most of us were here by about 7:30 in the morning outside, doing a little bit of protesting to let our voices be heard. But almost immediately they started letting people in, and there are very limited seats in here. There's about, it's one in sorry, my face is there. One in every 3 seats. So only a third of the seats, if that, is being used for people to sit in and be able to come in and make comments. So I feel very privileged to be able to be here and to be able to provide this live stream for you guys. I want to make sure that you get to hear what everybody's saying and also provide you with an opportunity to speak up. So I'd love to hear if anybody has any questions about what's going on. How long is it till 11 o'clock? So it's not quite 10, it's almost 10:30 right now, so we still have another half an hour before comments happen. Feel free to go, do whatever you need to do, and make sure that you come back and make sure that you're sharing this, talking about this with people so that we can get as many people as possible back on this live stream by 11 o'clock on the phone lines, ready to go with public comment for the rodeo ordinance. Let me know if anybody has questions about what's going on, but again, this rodeo ordinance is for the County of Alameda to ban wild cow milking, bucking straps, non-release ropes, and spurs. So in effect, this might very well end the rodeo in Alameda County, because those bucking straps, or flanking straps as they're called, are what are used in order to force the cows and the horses do that bucking behavior. You know, the rodeo proponents say that the flanking straps are very comfortable, that they don't hurt the animal in any way, that it's just sort of...
Can I get a selfie?
Crystal, Dr. Heath was just taking a photograph of us being here. So to get back to the flanking straps, you know, I could have a chain and say, well, this chain has very soft, there's nothing sharp on this chain. This chain doesn't hurt anybody. Let me lay it across you gently. See, it doesn't hurt at all. But you pull that chain tight, and then tighter, and then tighter. You could actually, of course, kill somebody with it. And it's the same with these flanking straps. Just because when they're not on the animal, or when they're put on the animal not in the way that they're actually used for bucking, sure, they can seem like passive items that are just there as a way to let the animal know it's time to do their job. That's exactly word for word what was said at the last meeting, that those flanking straps are just a tool used to put on the animal to let them know that it's time to do their job. Well, I'm sorry, but did they apply for that job? Do they want to be there doing that job? It is not our place to take these beautiful sentient beings and make them work for what? They deserve to simply exist without our dominating over them. So the flanking straps are put on around the midsection, towards the groin of the animal, and they're pulled tightly on the animal. And it is because those straps are on tightly, it causes irritation, and that's why the animals buck, because they want that strap off. They want the people off of them, they want the strap off of them. So using the flank strap combined with the spurs that they use to dig into the animal, they're not sharp, but they are not passive as well. So you can look at videos of how they use them. But if these animals wanted to be there, why would they run away? If the animals are so happy to participate, why do they even need these tools? Why do they need to kick the animal with spurs? Why do they need to use these items? Well, it's because obviously the animals don't want to be there. The animals don't want to be in these loud arenas with lots of lights and people. They don't want to be part of this. They don't want to be roped and tied. So it comes down to figuring out how we can have discussions with the other side to get them to see what they're doing. And that is very, very difficult, because you are telling people to give up everything that they've ever known. Imagine that. Someone asks you, someone tells you that you're a bad person for doing what you were just taught to believe was right. You wouldn't like it either. So of course people get defensive. So we have to find ways, commonalities, common interests, common things that we can talk about to, I don't know, to get them to see what they're doing. I was doing something terrible, but I was completely convinced that what I was doing was absolutely necessary. And as soon as, I don't know, it was like someone smacked me in the head. All of a sudden I thought, what in the heck am I doing? I'm completely wrong. And that's the thing. I was completely wrong. So I changed. And that's the difference is, when people are presented with new information that conflicts with their worldview, it can be devastating. And so people shut down, and they don't want to hear it, and they don't want to change. They're very resistant. And so you have to be willing and strong enough to say, I was wrong. What I'm doing is not okay, and so therefore I'm going to change. If I knew how to get everybody to do that, I think all of us are in the same situation. We wish we could get people to understand, and heads clash and people start having hurt feelings all over the place, when in fact this has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with any of us. This has to do with the rights of the animals. The idea these animals, one, were here before us. We came in and decided we were just going to take charge of everything. And I don't think that's turning out all that great for us as a species. I think we need to learn how to change our ways, or our entire species, the human species, will be in peril. Other species will go on, but we had better learn how to change our ways quickly. Yes. Yes, Sandra, 30 minutes. It's a long time. That's why I'm saying I really appreciate everybody being here, but I totally understand if you have to go and do other things. But please, everybody, make sure that you come back here, come back to this live stream a little bit before 11 o'clock. We've got 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. If you have to go, make sure that you come back. I'm going to stay live. I'm going to do my best to provide you guys with information. Some people might come and go, so I want to make sure that I'm here answering any questions that you have. The important thing is that you share this live stream. Make sure that you are posting this and letting people know that it is at 11 o'clock that we're going to be giving public comment, and that anybody is able to call in and give public comment at that time. It's item 101, the rodeo ordinance. So, I really enjoy having an interactive live stream. I like for people, if they can give comments, let me know if you have any questions. I can also talk about the upcoming Smithfield trial. Again, right now, today, here we are in Alameda County, specifically Oakland, California. And we're here at the Board of Supervisors meeting, waiting for them to talk about item 101, the rodeo ordinance that would ban wild cow milking, bucking straps, spurs, and non-release ropes. This place is packed. We have so many people that there are people who had to go to an overflow room. There are people on both sides that are going to give their comments. Until that happens, if people can go to dxe.io/Utah trial, you can find out more information about the upcoming trial by Smithfield against Wayne Chung and Paul Darwin Pickelsheimer. There will be a lot of us going to Utah next month. We would love it if people could join us either in person or remotely. It's a very it's a crazy trial. If you haven't heard about what's going on with that, there's so much information. You know, both Wayne and Paul, as well as other activists, were able to go to Circle 4 Farms in Medford, and they were able to document horrific conditions that the animals were in. So originally, Smithfield had said way back in 2007, I believe, that they were going to phase out gestation crates, which, if you don't know what a gestation crate is, it is a prison, basically, for pigs. It's a metal cage that's 2 feet by 7 feet. So it's pretty much the exact size of a pig, and they're put into these crates for the duration of their gestation. So they are artificially inseminated, and then they are meant to stay in a cage where they can pretty much only stand up. They cannot turn around. They can't do anything. They just stand in these crates. They can lay down, hardly even on their side. They can sort of just barely exist in these cages for the entire time that they are pregnant. And then they're supposed to be moved then to another cage that's slightly different but almost the same size, called a farrowing crate. So it's been a long time that gestation crates have been known to be so cruel that many places have banned them altogether. And Smithfield's Foods said they were going to ban these gestation crates as well, and everybody said, oh my gosh, they're so wonderful, this is fantastic. They got a lot of press about it. And so in 2017, when the gestation crates were supposed to be gone, activists went inside Circle 4 Farms, and what did they see? Gestation crates. Rows and rows of hundreds of pregnant pigs in these gestation crates. They hadn't changed anything. And so they lied to the public, and the activists were able to get footage of all of this, and it was unprecedented because they were able to get 360-degree footage of the entire place, so that people could put VR goggles on in order to get the feeling of what it was like to actually be inside one of those barns. Incredible footage, because a lot in those cases where we do investigations and go into these places, oftentimes the places say, oh, you're cherry picking, you only showed, one little part, you just showed this one little thing, which with the horrors that we've seen, even if we only saw, one little thing, which is never the case, that would be bad enough. But here we are in a case where we have the ability to say, no, we're not cherry picking. Here, look for yourself. You can see all around. You can see everything that's going on. And the prosecutors, rather than saying, oh wow, yeah, we see what's going on here, there is actually illegal animal cruelty happening. Instead, they decided to prosecute the activists who brought that information forth. So Wayne and Paul are going to be on trial, and they thought, okay, well, this is going to be a chance to be able to show what was going on, but the judge ruled that they were not allowed to show the footage. They're not allowed to show the footage from inside. They're not allowed to show any pictures. They're not allowed to talk about any of the animal cruelty that's going on. They're facing multiple felonies. They're facing up to 10 years in prison, and they're not allowed to defend themselves in any meaningful way. It is absolutely unconscionable. This is not simply about activism. This is about the justice system. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, if you were being put on trial, you would want to be able to protect yourself. You would want to be able to provide information that exonerated you, or at least, at the very least, showed why you did the thing that you did. Even if you were saying, yes, I stole something, you would want to be able to say why you chose to steal that thing, right? That happens all the time in cases. Motive. It's one of the main things. Why did that thing happen? And in this case, the judge ruled that they weren't going to be able to talk about it. So then several activists went to Utah to talk to people at a very important celebration called Pioneer Day in Utah. And instead of having a nice time and being able to engage with the public and talk about things, the Beaver County police showed up, the sheriff showed up, and started harassing the activists. And all of that's a whole other story that I won't go into, but if you are very interested, and believe me, it's pretty interesting, you can go on to, there's a YouTube channel called The Audit, or you can please go to Direct Action Everywhere's Facebook page, which you're on now for this. If you go on, you can see the interaction between Curtis Vollmer and the Beaver County Sheriff and police there during that interaction. It was quite insane what was happening, and because the consequences of that were such that the judge finally agreed that it was going to be pretty much impossible to get a fair trial in Beaver County. So they decided that they were going to move this trial to a new county. It's going to be in St. George, which is Washington County in Utah. And so that was just, incredible that happened, and that the trial got moved. And so it's happening in October. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to speak up just because, we're in a meeting room, and so if I speak too loudly, it's disruptive. It's considered disruptive. So I'm trying to maintain a little bit of decorum and keep my voice down while still making sure that I'm engaging with you guys. And again, thank you so much for staying with me through this live stream. We still have another about 15 minutes to go before the meeting starts up again. I don't want to stick my face directly in the camera, but I'm hoping that you can hear me. They are, making sure that we are social distancing and everybody has their masks on, and I understand that muffles my voice and it does make it a little bit more difficult to hear me. So I will try to make sure that I'm enunciating and that you guys understand what's going on. Thank you everybody for being here. Make sure that you share this live stream. I was just talking about the upcoming Smithfield trial in Utah. If anybody has any questions about that, again, you can go to dxe.io/Utah trial. Or if you just go to our Facebook page, you'll see the information all over. It's really crazy what's going on, and a lot of us are very sad because we know that Wayne and Paul have a very good chance of ending up in prison. They're being charged with multiple felonies. They could face up to 10 years in prison. Why? Because they rescued 2 dying piglets. I mean, yes, they went on to this farm to document the conditions that were there, and they found illegal animal cruelty on that farm. But while they were doing that, they saw so much abuse, so much horror, and they decided that they were going to save some. So they saved 2 piglets' lives. They weren't sure if they were even going to make it because they were in terrible condition, but they took those 2 piglets out and they saved their lives. And what's very interesting is that the farms are trying to say that the activists put the animals' lives in danger by being there, when in fact the only animals to make it out alive were the 2 that the activists rescued. Think about that for a moment. Crazy. So that's the upcoming trial in September. But right now we're in Alameda County in California, and we're here because there is a vote happening today on an ordinance that would ban certain aspects of the rodeos here in Alameda County, and we want to make sure that we're speaking up for the animals. Yes, Renee, about 13 minutes. I know it's like a countdown now. Oh, thank you, Renee, that you're following the story. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoy the interactive nature. I prefer if you guys put comments so that I know, what you're thinking, what you want to hear about. I am happy to talk about multiple things. It's been a long time on this live stream, but I want to make sure that people have the opportunity to speak up, and you can do so by going to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors website. You can click on the link and you can find a number to call in at around 11 o'clock. We're going to start things up and they're going to have public comment. Again, if I am called up to be able to give public comment, you might actually see a pause in this live stream because my comment is on my phone, so I'm going to have to pause the live stream. It's just going to be maybe a minute or more, and then I'll come right back. I want to make sure that you guys are able to see everybody's comments and that you are part of this. I want you to know that you can make a difference. You can help save these animals from further abuse by calling in and having public comment from wherever you are. It's so important that each and every one of you understand that you can make a difference in animals' lives by being an activist, by speaking out, by making everyday choices. There's so much that you can do. People are starting to come in again as we get closer to 11 o'clock. This is a little bit different than most of the live streams. I know that, oftentimes it's very exciting. There's a lot of things happening. And here we are at a public meeting. All right, let me just, Louis, it's not charging anymore. Well, all right. I'm gonna try to see. I'm really worried that I'm gonna lose battery power. We've waited all this time. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera on, and I'm actually gonna look to see if there's somewhere I can plug my phone in.
Okay. I've got one for here. If you get one. Yeah, you speak. Yeah.
Michelle, do you have a USB-C port in your computer? Is your computer on? I need to charge my phone. I just need a USB-C port. Thank you guys for bearing with me on this. Yeah, I have the cord. Yeah, I need to plug the cord into something. So I don't know.
Yeah, my computer is dead. But there's, that thing.
The USB-C?
I can, if you want to give me, if not outside, you can charge it.
That's working. Thank you so much. I've been on this live stream for a long time with these wonderful individuals, and my batteries, I started at 100% and now I'm at 24%.
Where's the live stream?
On the DXE main page. Yeah. Thank you guys for bearing with me. We only have barely 10 minutes to go, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you're sharing this. If you have any questions about what's going on, make sure that you comment. And if you want to get involved in any more events that we're having, you can go to dxe.io/events. That's dxe.io/events and find out about upcoming events. Just recently we had a pigeon de-stringing training that I gave, and that was a great time, talking about how you can make a difference every day in the lives of pigeons by helping them.
I know we did. I might go to the back. I don't know.
All right, people are definitely coming back in, and we're going to be getting started soon. All right, there's so much happening. There's so much going on this week. We have a lot of things happening. In the next few days, there's going to be court support for several activists. You can find that also on dxe.io/events. If you want to help be part of court support in Sonoma, we have upcoming the Rose's Law Week of Action. So hopefully you all know about Rose's Law. This is an animal bill of rights that would give animals protections just like humans have. You can go online and look up Rose's Law. So several years ago, over 150 plus activists went onto a farm, and they were able to save many individuals, but the police showed up, and unfortunately they took those individuals out of the arms of the activists. And it was very emotional, and the police were trying to say that those individuals were going to get veterinary care, so it was going to be okay, but we knew the truth. We knew that they were going to be killed. They assured us that that was not going to happen. We really wanted to save their lives. Finally, one officer came forward and said, okay, fine. You guys can take one individual. You can take the sickest chicken that there is. And that was Rose. So Rose was saved that day. She was the only hen to make it out alive. All of the other chickens all of those individuals that were saved out of the farm were then ripped out of the arms of the activists, taken to the vet where they were deemed too unhealthy. The chickens that were on that farm that were eventually going to be slaughtered and put into supermarkets were deemed by veterinarians to be too unhealthy to live, and they were euthanized. So the only individual to make it out alive was Rose, and she started an entire movement for Rose's Law, an animal bill of rights. And so coming up is Rose's Law week of action. The 27th is going to be the kickoff event. Actually, the 24th coming up, we're going to be doing a large banner drop to kick off the week of action. We hope that you guys will be able to join us. We will be live streaming as well, so we hope that you come back for that. We are now maybe 5 minutes away from the start of the Board of Supervisors meeting again, where we will be able to make public comment on the rodeo ordinance. For those of you who are joining us, make sure that you're sharing the live stream. Again, this is Alameda County, California, Board of Supervisors regular meeting for September 20th. Item 101 is the rodeo ordinance. If you want to call in, you can call in from anywhere. All you have to do, if you don't have a prepared statement or you don't feel comfortable, all you have to do is let them know that you support the rodeo ordinance. This room is jam-packed with people as much as is allowed. We are all going to give public speak-outs. The opposite side is also going to be able to give their public comment. And so I'm going to make sure that I am live streaming so that you can hear everybody. And thank you guys for joining. Let me know if there are any questions. We're just a few minutes away from the start of the Board of Supervisors meeting. I'm not sure who all is in here. All of a sudden I got some laughing emojis and I don't see any comments. So if there's anybody in the live stream who is on the other side or maybe has something to say, I encourage you to put in the comments how you feel about things. We're here to have discussions. This is a place of kindness. We're not looking to villainize anybody. As I was talking about earlier, so many of us have been responsible for actions that are considered cruel, but we opened our eyes and we saw that those actions were not all right, and so we aligned our actions with our morals. That's all it is. It's a matter of opening your eyes and understanding that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to understand that what you've been doing is not okay and that you can change. And so we're here today to speak up for the animals and to say that we want that change to happen. We want this ordinance to pass and to change the way that rodeos treat animals. Oh, Renee, they were crying emojis. Thank you so much. I just looked really quickly. It looked like laughing emojis. So sometimes people can send emojis that if they're on the opposite side and they're trying to troll us. But I'm really happy to see that it was the opposite. Thank you so much. I thank everybody for your support. And again, now we're only maybe 2 minutes away from this starting up again. As soon as the supervisors start to come in, I'll turn the camera around so everybody can see what's going on. I have, my phone is plugged in to Dr. Crystal Heath's laptop in front of me, and the wire is going across the seats. And there is a gentleman who is going to be sitting in a chair right where the wire is. So hopefully he'll allow me to keep this plugged in, because I worry that my battery is going to die at exactly the time when I want to make sure that you guys can all see what's going on. So bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to make sure everything else on my phone is closed. This might pause for just a moment. Hang with me. Sorry, Larissa, I don't want to put my head right in here. I know it's very hard for people to hear me, and I do apologize for that. People are starting to come into the board meeting again, and so there are more voices, and it's harder to hear me, but we are just about ready to go. It's pretty much 11 o'clock, so the Board of Supervisors should start showing up any moment, and then we will be able to start public comment. If anybody wants to give public comment over the phone, you should be calling in now, making sure that you are in the queue. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but we need as many people as possible, in person as well as over the phone. Especially because in person it's kind of limited due to COVID restrictions. Only every third seat has a person, so only a certain number of us were allowed in, which is going to limit how many people are able to speak. So there are a lot of people in an overflow room. Hopefully all of the people in the overflow room are able to call in and give their comment over the phone. Thank you, Larissa, for pointing that out. It's very important for anybody who's on the live stream to make sure that you're commenting and letting me know if there are any issues with the sound or the video, or if you have any questions. Because I have the mask on, it's a little bit harder. I'm trying to make sure I enunciate so that you guys can hear me well and that you know what's going on. I've already talked multiple times about what this ordinance will do. I'm happy to talk about it again. Also talking about the upcoming trial in Utah. If people want more information about that. Or even before then, we have our Rose's Law Week of Action. There's so much happening right now, and you can get involved in so many different ways. Make sure to go to our Facebook page, Direct Action Everywhere Facebook page, and go to the events. You can keep up to date on what's happening, and reach out to us if you have any questions, or if you want to get involved in other ways. You can reach out to us, and we will help you. All right, it is after 11 o'clock now. It's a couple minutes past 11 o'clock, and none of the Board of Supervisors have showed up yet. Hopefully they will show up soon, and we can get on with things. I'm really appreciative of people hanging in. I hope more people come back since it's 11 o'clock. I hope more people come back to the live stream. There's a lot of milling about. Curtis. Hi, Curtis. We're all very excited to be able to give our comment, and again, they are supposed to be voting on this rodeo ordinance today, so we should have the results of that vote pretty much immediately after everybody gives public comment, unless something else happens. So we're going to have a resolution to this right away. I'm anxious. I don't know about you. I'm anxious to find out how this turns out, because it's very important. It's important for the animals. It has nothing to do with us. You know, on our side, we have nothing to gain or lose other than the animals, who have very much to gain or lose from how this goes. On the proponent side, you know, they talk about how much money the rodeo brings in, how important the money is that this rodeo brings, how people's jobs are dependent on the rodeo. And believe me, I understand that. I get that. I think it would be foolish for us to ignore how important it is for people to have jobs and for economies to keep going. but doing so on the backs of another species being abused and exploited is not okay. It's never okay. That is just not the way to keep an economy going. We can come up with other jobs for people, but the rodeo is not the way to continue forward. And again, I understand that this is their way of life. This is all they've ever known. But that doesn't mean that it's okay to continue. Now we have a little bit of activity going on. It's been a long live stream, guys, and I'm really so grateful to have you all with me. I hope more people, please make sure you're sharing this. I want to get as many people as possible during the time that we're going to be listening to people give comments. We're now 5 minutes past the time that we were supposed to start up again. How about you guys give me a shout out in the comments, just so I know you're still here, that you're watching, and that you're ready for this. So exciting for us to give public comment. This is what government is supposed to be all about: people voicing their opinion on things and then coming to a resolution. Thank you. I see a few emojis going. I just want to make sure you're still with me. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Just keeping my eyes out for, thank you guys so much. Jackie, Sandra, Sandra, thank you. Larissa, Jackie, Renee, I'm really appreciative that you guys are here. How would they feel if I said I'd pay money to see someone hurt you and do the things you, well, yeah, do the things that you're doing to these animals? Yeah, I get that. Let's see. But I grew up that way. Absolutely. We already, good point, Renee, and thank you, Pandora, for being with me. Renee, yes, that is exactly how we understand it. We see that we would not want these things done to us, right? How would you feel if somebody threw you out into a ring of strangers, you don't know where you're at, and then chased after you and roped you and tied you? You'd be scared out of your mind, which of course they are. But here is the fundamental thing. On the other side, even though, again, they say they love the animals and care for them, they still see them as others. They are not given the same consideration. Their feelings, their pain is not taken into consideration. Or, as happens a lot, people are able to convince themselves, they have to do mental gymnastics to convince themselves that what they're doing does not actually cause the animals any pain. During the interview that Wayne did with Trent, the farmer actually said that he agrees that pigs can feel pain, but he said that they cannot feel joy, which I thought was very interesting. Why one emotion would be, valid and the other one would not. And I feel in some ways that's kind of the opposite of what we see in rodeos, where they tend to feel that the animals are capable of happiness and joy. They love them. They acknowledge. They even say that the animals are happy to be there and performing these stunts or feats. But then they don't acknowledge their pain. They don't acknowledge that the reasons why they don't want to be there. Exactly, Renee. Some other people are coming in, but I'm not sure why that's happening. There were a very limited number of seats. And so I think, when we knew there was going to be an hour before this, we were told that we could leave, and we were told that we could put something on our seat to kind of save our seat. So a lot of us started to leave, and then immediately we were told that seats were not going to be held for people. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I think they're out of seats.
No, there's a couple.
Yeah, but people. So, you know,
Somebody's here. Oh, they are.
yeah. So I'm not sure where the people are who were moderating this before, you know, how many seats there are and who's available. Exactly. So somebody, you know, people are coming in late and then not understanding that people have been here for a long time waiting. Renee, thank you so much. You should probably dial in fairly soon so that you're there, and then, you know, you'd be dialed in and ready, and then you hit, the instructions are on the website. I think it's just hitting 9. You hit 9 to raise your hand. So you want to already be online. You want to be on the phone already. And then when they say that it's time for public comment, then you hit 9 to raise your hand so they know that you want to give public comment. It's not calling in and already being available, because some people don't have any other way to listen to the supervisors meeting other than to call in. So some people call in but don't really give comment, or maybe they give comment at a different time. So again, you have to actually dial 9 to let them know that your hand is raised and that you want to give public comment. Thank you so much. Michael, you said one is a physiological reaction, the other an emotion. Absolutely. Of course, we know there's emotional pain as well as physical pain, but I suspect the danger is denying the emotional pain while admitting there is a physiological reaction. Absolutely, Michael, you're completely right. You know, so it's just interesting to try and figure out how to get people to make the connection, to give up everything that they've known for their whole life in order to make a change. All right, so people are filing back in. The Board of Supervisors started to come out. Of course, yes, they know emotional pain as well as physical pain. And with the rodeo, it's both. You know, it is immense physical pain that they're putting these animals through. Absolutely. Tons of physical pain. Hi, Sandra. Nice to have you here. Hi. Sorry.
No, you're cool.
Thank you. Battery power.
Oh, we lost it.
Almost gone. Yes, depending on where you're at, people are either wearing masks or not wearing masks. This being a government building, it is still mandated that people wear masks. They have had several people, they made an announcement that several people in this building got COVID in the last week, and so they are still mandating that masks are being worn. Thank you guys for being here. Things are getting started again. People are making their way in. Again, just one last time, I'm going to say we're in the County of Alameda in California at the Board of Supervisors regular meeting for September 20th. A lot of us are here on both sides to give public comment about item 101, the rodeo ordinance. Thank you, Sandra. Exactly, you have to raise your hand to let them know that you want to give public comment. Renee, thank you for the comment about chickens. Yeah, if like any mother, you know, there is communication going on prior to birth, so it should not be discounted. I'm not a mother, but I've heard from many human mothers about the bond that they form with their infant prior even to being born. So interesting. There are books being, I'm going to turn this around now so that you don't have to see me anymore and you can see what's going on in the meeting. The Board of Supervisors are being given gifts, it looks like, some books that are packaged up with ribbons on them. Not sure if we'll find out what that's about. All right, we're about to get started, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to say once again, if I do get called up to give public comment, you will have a pause just for a minute or two in the live stream while I give comment. So there will be a slight pause at that time, and then I will come back to the live stream.
Recording in progress.
Good morning. The Board of Supervisors is back in open session. Speaker joining the meeting via teleconference, please unmute your microphone. Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Howard.
Present.
Supervisor Bryant.
Here.
Supervisor Brown. Here. Supervisor Miley.
Renee, are you online?
Present. At this time, does county council have anything to report out of closed session?
Yes. Yes, I'd like to report the following, that the board authorized settlements in the following matters listed on the agenda. In Gestation Upshaw et al., County of Alameda, et al., Alameda County, et al., United States District Court for the Northern District of California, case number 3-18-CP-07814-JE. On July 19, 2022, the board authorized settlement. That case has now been fully negotiated and a settlement has been reached. And the settlement is for the county to pay $125,000 in that matter. I'm sorry, $155,000 in that matter. Correction, $155,000 in that matter. In the matter of Kiera Brown et al., City of Oakland et al., U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California, case number 3:21-CB-02881 RS. The board, I'm sorry, for the teacher, Upshaw matter, I indicated that the closed session was on July 19th, that closed session was on January 11th, 2022. So to correct that on the teacher Upshaw, the closed session was on 1/11/2022. Kiera Brown et al., the board in closed session on July 19th, 2022, the board authorized the settlement discussions, and that case has now settled, and final settlement has been approved in the amount of $125,000. On both Takesha Upshaw and Kiera Brown, it was by a unanimous vote of the board. And then with respect to Dowdy D.J. Woods, Court et al., Superior Court of California, County of Alameda, case number RG-21102-737. The board on May 10th, 2022 authorized settlement negotiations. That matter has now settled, and it settled in the amount of $75,000 by unanimous vote of the board. Thank you.
Instructions on how to call in should be also on the website.
President, I just would like to note for members of the audience, one of us has to be remote at all times, and so Supervisor Miley is remote. It's not that he doesn't care about this agenda, but he is participating. However, one of us has to be remote. That's why he's remote online. He listened in and participated in the full hearing, but I want everybody to know it's not because he doesn't care, it's because one of us has to be online. He is too.
And the appropriate time, I want to adjourn today's meeting, and Henry and I'll go through the biography. The memory of Amy Kelly passed a little bit more than a week ago. Person very familiar to our county. With that, we'll go to 11 o'clock set matters. Let me say, we have several items for 11 o'clock set matter.
Now would be the time to raise your hand.
2 hours set matter discussion. At least on one of the items. And we do encourage and support public participation in our meetings, be it remote and or in person. So I want to underscore that. We do encourage that and support that. It's part of the democratic process. And I think all of us embrace that for 2 hours on set matters for today. In the case of at least one item, we've had at least 3 hours, maybe 3+ hours discussion. I know that board members and county staff have probably been averaging about 400 emails a day on at least one of the items, both pro and con. And I do know that a number of meetings have taken place. People have talked about these items out of county, in county, out of state, in state. And so I think the board members have been attempting to listen, be educated as they deliberate on these items. The first item that we have is Banned Books Week. And so I'd like to say that Banned Books Week was launched in 1982 in response to a surge in the number of challenges to books in schools, bookstores, and libraries. This year, the Alameda County recognizes September the 18th through 24th as Banned Books Week, and so highlight the value of free and open access to information. Books are tools for understanding complex issues. Limiting people's access to books does not protect them from life's complexities. Democracy depends on free and open access to information, as well as the right to all to make their own decisions about what they read. Diverse books serve not only just a window to another world, but also as a mirror that allows people to see themselves reflected in stories. Removing and banning books from public libraries is a slippery slope to government censorship and the erosion of our county's commitment to freedom of expression. Banned Book Weeks began together the entire book community, including libraries, booksellers, publishers, journalists, teachers, and readers of all types, in sheer support of the freedom to seek and to express ideas. Today, we recognize Alameda County Library for their passion and efforts to ensuring that the entire book community exercises their freedom to read. Joining us today to accept the proclamation is our librarian, county library chair, Cindy Chapman, as well as Deb Sakira, Deputy County Library. Thank you for the presentation today, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Carson. It's a privilege to be here and to accept this. Freedom Book Week is something that's important to the libraries, but also to all supporters of democracy. Unfortunately, although it's an old challenge, it's not as far from being in the past. 2021, according to the American Library Association, saw the highest level of handbook challenges in 20 years, and they're estimating that 2022 will be even higher. With me today, I have a few people, Deb Seeker, our Deputy County Librarian, Michael Wallace Davis Jr., who is the head of our collections development, buys all of our books for us. I also have our communications manager, Alicia Reyes, and I have a special guest, Samir Jah. Samir, do you want to come up here with me? Samir is a student at Stanford University and was a longtime user of our Fremont Library. Samir also in 2018 published a book called Read This, Save Lives, and it was for classroom teachers about making classrooms safer for LGBTQ plus children. So Samir is doing some work with the United Nations right now, and we'll be filming at our San Lorenzo Library this Thursday regarding the work with our freedom to read and freedom of expression with our LGBT community. So I just want to say a special thank you to Samir for coming over from Stanford this morning and joining us as one of the leaders of the future in this coalition. So thank you for your support. You'll notice that we gave you a small gift, a little bundle of banned books. We are passing these out also at all of our libraries while supplies last. They're free, they're gifts. It's to Michael. And please read banned books and pass them along to everyone else. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have the proclamation. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Renee, I don't know what the meeting ID is, but it should be on the website. I'm so sorry. Maybe somebody can look and put that in the comments.
Hi there, my name is Jessica Vizio. I'm calling in from Castro Valley, and I'm speaking to oppose number 101 on your agenda today, so I think I might be a little early.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much.
Call, please state your name. We're on item 100. You have 2 minutes to speak. You're on the line.
You should take your hand, unraise your hand.
Good morning. I'm a resident of Oakland, Alameda County, and I just want to state a comment on I do not consent. I do not consent to using electronic machines to count my ballots. We demand paper
I'm
ballots.
sorry, no, we're not on that item. I apologize. No, we're not on that item. We're actually only on ban the vote, number 100 on our 11 o'clock segment.
Bill, please unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, I'm Phil Doyle, and I'm looking forward to 101.
Thank you. Let me again, for those who are at least remote, we're only on the set matter for 100, which is banned. Folks, we're going to appropriate full 2 hours to just 11 o'clock set matter. For items that are not on today's agenda, there will be a public opportunity to speak to items not on today's agenda at the end of our agenda today. So there will be an opportunity for public comment on items not on the agenda. Up to now, we have had public comment on items that are on today's agenda, void, not including the 11 o'clock set matters. And so in order to get to the item that you want to speak to, if you're speaking to 100, then go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, you're cutting into the time on the item that you want to speak on.
Renee, you should call in now. Make sure you call in now. Just do not raise your hand.
I'm sorry about what might be
Call in, but do not yet raise your hand.
Make sure that we call them on that. But we're also trying to put out our agenda in enough time so people who have the opportunity, we know everybody doesn't, review it, we understand what time to try to narrow in on the time of your particular interest, but you're always welcome to join us for the entire board. Okay, we will move now to item 101.
Now you can raise your hand. Now would be the time to raise your hand.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, this ordinance was actually going back to my good friend and colleague Supervisor Chan back in January 15, 2019. She wanted to ban both wild cow milking and mutton busting back then. However, the vote that was taken at the end, the motion was made by Supervisor Miley to ban mutton busting, and therefore the issue of wild cow milking was left unanswered. So today we're introducing an ordinance to ban wild cow milking, and then the use of straps, etc. is in the ordinance. I'd like to hear from the public on both sides of the issue at this point, Mr. President.
Supervisor Brown, you have anything to say before Supervisor Miley has his hand up? Speak.
Well, I don't have a motion to Marty, or just a statement.
I know, I wanted to just introduce the item.
Oh, so I think that this is an important issue for my former boss, Supervisor Wilmer Chan. As Supervisor Valle said, the wild cow milking was first and foremost for her something that needed to be addressed. It wasn't back in November of 2019. That is my priority for this. I think it's something I went through a county process and made it to the board again in November 2019. It was just tabled at that time. My understanding of the other issues that are proposed in this ordinance didn't necessarily go through a process. I know that there were some concerns raised by board members and community members about that. And I'm perfectly comfortable focusing in on the issues that did go through a county process.
Supervisor Miley?
Thank you, President Carson. I think I'm the camera on, but I guess you can't see me.
No, we can't.
But my camera is on. Let's see here. This item, whether or not we look at wild cow milking as the only thing that we consider with the ordinance, or whether we look at what was prepared in the ordinance, wasn't vetted through the Ag Committee that we have appointees on. The Ag Committee deals with agricultural issues. ranching issues, water resource issues, and other issues that affect the ag areas of Districts 1 and District 4, and maybe to an extent District 2. Didn't go through the Municipal Advisory Council, Fairview Municipal Advisory Council, Cache Valley Municipal Advisory Council, nor the Eaton Area Advisory Council. I think it was very disrespectful that it didn't go through that process, because these issues that we're looking at today are not life and death. They're not urgency. They don't deal with mental health. They don't deal with homelessness. They don't deal with crime and violence. They don't deal with, 911 ambulance service. They don't deal with any of the major issues that are confronting Alameda County. So there was no reason why this should not have been vetted and taken through a public process. Number 2, Supervisor Wilma Chan, when we took this matter up, said she was done with this. That's on the record. Number 3, and I'd like County Council to weigh in on this, if we decide we want to modify this ordinance today and just deal with wild cow milking, is that a substantive change that would require this to come back to the board for yet another discussion, a potential first reading, and then a second reading? Can County Council answer that question, President Carter? And I don't know why my camera isn't working, but no.
County Council.
Andrea Waddle, Chief Assistant County Council. Supervisor Miley, if I understand your question, you are looking at removing from the ordinance the item regarding the amendment or the addition of 5.08177, leaving in only the change regarding wild cow milking. That amendment can be made, and a first reading could occur after that revision is made. The ordinance would again still require 2 readings prior to final adoption.
We couldn't take up the first reading today, could we?
Yes, you could, because the removal of the information is merely a redaction. Individuals are still on notice that there was an attempt to move forward with essentially what it amounts to 2 items in the ordinance. Taking one out prior to first reading would allow you to do a new first reading. We could modify the title and do that reading today.
Okay, all right, that helps explain that.
So just to be clear, excuse me, Supervisor, if that were to happen today, that would be the first reading?
That would be first reading, and then that would, of course, move forward for second reading prior to adoption.
To clarify his question, implied in his question was that it would take 3 hearings. Today's hearing, you bring it back for first reading and second reading, and you're saying we can do the first reading today, included in today's hearing, and we would only have 1 additional meeting for this board on the item for the second reading.
My apologies. Yes, sir, that is correct. If the amendment were made prior to first reading and were successful, then you would do first reading, have a vote, and then the item would continue forward to the next regular board meeting for second reading.
Okay, I don't want to question that at all. No, I just want to make sure that we're being as consistent from a historical perspective, and that we're taking the same actions on other items, that when they've been discussed in these kinds of meetings, that we've taken an action, and it only took 1 reading. In addition to that, and as long as historically we're consistent on that, since we're being sued all day, every day, getting public records requests all day, every day, I want to make sure that we're historically feeling that we have the evidence to back that up. And also, I want to make sure as we go forward, unless there's a policy change, a procedure change, that we're consistent.
So, Supervisor Carson, we are addressing it from the point of view of ensuring that your board fulfills its this topic. So there is no written policy to guide it, so we've just been applying the legal construct. And so, as well as making the statement that she made, it's based on our consistent practice at looking at the scope of the changes that are being made, and whether the change is the type of change that allows us to clearly excise the language from the ordinance that's before the public. And this one, because it is such a short ordinance, especially, we are able to clearly excise and make the changes and allow for a first reading that is clear to the public what those changes are. There have been other occasions where, based on the types of changes and edits and everything that's being made, it requires more wordsmithing to draft those changes and more, it makes it more difficult to actually read the ordinance, do a first reading at that time, and make those changes. But we certainly in the past, I believe, have done small edits to an ordinance and move forward with the first reading because there's no confusion on the part of the public based on the scope of the changes as to what the action that the board is taking. So we do believe this is consistent, but certainly if there's a concern adopting a policy, that the county certainly could adopt a policy that would address the way to deal with this and provide more consistency if that's your first question.
As a progressive and a person who represents a district that has been pretty active on a multitude of issues, I personally hold the view that when things become very subjective as opposed to institutionalized in its consistency, that it opens up the door for question of how government operates, and especially how elected officials operate. Since at least viewing the San Francisco Chronicle's poll last week on a number of things in San Francisco, at the lowest of that was the supervisors, the review of the supervisor performance. As a supervisor in Alameda County, I just want to make sure that as we're making policy decisions, procedural decisions, legal decisions, to the extent that we can institutionalize them and they're consistent and they're not subjective, based on who's putting the pressure on the elected officials, starts to at least deal with the increasing view of government and how elected officials operate. It becomes very confusing to the public when they see that you operate one particular way, and based on who's in the audience, who's lobbying you, who has the dollars to have legal counsel, that it operates a different way. I'm deeply concerned about that. My constituency is deeply concerned about it, because while we're dealing with this particular issue, and I'm sure it has its unique character to it, there are other issues that are similar in scope that also have unique character. So from a historical perspective and from an operational perspective, I'm personally, nobody else on the board may be, but I'm personally concerned about the fact that we operate as consistently, not objectively, not subjectively, as we possibly can. I've already, since this board is, periodically you got to constantly come back and review how we operate. I've started to make deep edits on terms of our procedures and operating policies, and want to bring it to the full board. Now my suggestions are already in place, because I agree with the premise, at least it got us to this point, with Supervisor Miley, that it did not go through the proper procedures, that it started to open that door even wider to the way people view government, in terms of how it attempted to sidestep the procedures and the operations. So I want to be deeply on record.
Yes, thank you. I just have a clarifying question, which is to say, I wasn't here in 2019 when this was heard before. I heard it characterized that cow milking was tabled, and I just want to understand that because that seems like a very specific term. Tabling an item is one thing, continuing an item is another thing. Many different terms out there. Was cow milking, as it was discussed in 2019, tabled?
I have not reviewed the record of the 2019 discussions. I defer to the supervisors if they review those records and know whether it was tabled or it just wasn't taken up.
Second related question is, so what was the procedures at that time? Did we have committees looking at it, or was it just introduced at a board meeting and public comment at a board meeting? Did we solicit committee feedback at that time? I just don't know, that's why I asked.
Well, while you're doing that, I just want to ask from this board, to make sure you're freezing the time for board discussion. You might want to go back and make sure, because I want to make sure we have all out of time for the public to be heard. And I don't want them to assume that we're taking up their time with our discussion. So we need to figure out what that time is. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't have that information. I did not go back and review what happened in 2019. We've only been dealing with an item that is before us. I don't know if supervisors reviewed that and reached a conclusion.
If I could, Mr. President, shed a little bit of light. The issue of mutton busting was discussed and was brought forward by my good friend, the former supervisor, Wilma Chan, and myself to the full board, similar to the current issue that's before us. At that time, I think the documentation proved that the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals had also banned mutton busting as harmful to the animals. That in itself was the crux of the issue when it came down to, is it humane or not humane? As a result of that, the board went forward and banned mutton busting. The wild cow milking was brought up, but never directly addressed, and it wasn't necessarily tabled, but it was set aside until now.
Mr. President. Yes. I just want to object to that characterization. I know I had my staff review, and I know Supervisor Chance, we weren't going to be dealing with this anymore. She was done with it. So I object to that characterization. Furthermore, I object to the fact that this is before us. It's taking up staff time. Our staff is overwhelmed as a result of COVID. They're overwhelmed with public records requests. They're overwhelmed with very, very, very important matters dealing with mentally ill, homelessness, unsheltered, affordable housing, making sure that the ambulance are in compliance, dealing with many issues that affect vulnerable populations. To have this come to the board, not go through the public process minimally, is disrespectful of our staff taking up a lot of their time unnecessarily. Furthermore, I don't even know who wrote this. Get it to the board as well. And if it had gone through a process, maybe some of these matters would have been clarified because it went through a process, as opposed to coming directly to the board to have us discuss it 3 hours before, and now taking it up today. So I just want to go on record. I definitely object to the characterization, and I object to the fact that this is even before us today.
Who is this who's speaking, please?
Supervisor Miley. And he is on video, so I'm sorry, you might not be able to see it on the screen, but he is. And as was stated a little earlier by County Council, based on the state of emergency, one of us has to be remote. He happens to be there. He's in the building, but he's on this floor, but he's remote.
Just for the record, that was stated by Supervisor Albert, not by County Council.
Any other board remarks? attempting to try to have some equity here. So my understanding is the clerk's office is attempting to try to have speaker in person for and one against, remote for and against, to try to give some balance to the presentation. And again, I know that board members have been digesting the written material that's been coming in for the last 6 or 7 weeks and daily, and had numerous meetings in county, out of county, out of state, with individuals who are focused on the same decision. And I think county council was correct. So. We cannot do one for and one against in that way. We have to open it up to whoever speaks for the next hour, 60 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is. Sorry.
We go to the first speaker. We'll alternate between in-person and online speakers as necessary. And public comments start now.
First speaker, Denise Bogle from Samsung.
Hello, good afternoon. You can hear me? Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to thank the supervisors who introduced this ordinance. It's a much needed ordinance. I've been to many rodeos, and it's really very sad what these animals are put through. What has Fort Wayne, Indiana, Leestown, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Napa, California, San Francisco, and Pasadena have in common? They all have similar ordinances passed, just like the one that's before you today. In fact, the one in Pittsburgh goes a bit further. It was passed 30 years ago this year, and it says that no rodeo or rodeo-related event shall be permitted where animals are induced or encouraged to perform through the use of any practice or technique, chemical, mechanical, electrical, manual device that will cause or is likely to cause physical injury, torment, or suffering. Today, I hope that you all have a copy of, and I'm going to hand this to the clerk if it's okay, is a letter from the East Bay SBCA that you all should have received. They write, I'm pleased to hear the ordinance would ban the flank strap. This is a tool intentionally and solely used to create discomfort in the animal, causing it to buck and jump in pain, and tie down calf roping that flips calves by their necks onto the ground, which causes obvious distress and often injuring these young animals. I appreciate this is quite an emotionally charged proposal and that you are receiving much feedback on both sides of the issue. The basic fact is, emotions aside, that this is simply an inhumane use of animals for entertainment. I urge you please to take this seriously. They can still have their culture. There are tie-down rope, there are breakaway roping events that debuted at Houston Rodeo this year, and also you don't need to torture animals. Thank you very much.
Please state your name, you're all on, you have 2 minutes to speak.
I'd like to speak to the item. I would ask that people, we're taking a lot of county time as was described, those are tax dollars. If the amount of time, energy has been given to human rights, how about the right of the fetus and the baby? Are the people that are so concerned about animals saving a baby in the womb, are they as concerned for human life as they are for these animals? It's not for government to go out, and they're always involved, getting more and more involved, regulating every aspect of our lives. We need to push back on government. I would also say that I am going to ask for a list of all the money given out to organizations that circumvented the GSA requirement for bidding process, we're seeing many more of these monies being doled out to organizations not undergoing the normal requirements. And I'm going to push for this. I think that government is really centralizing its control and favoring the organizations it chooses. So on this, I vote against it, not the government, and it's out of the government's purview. Thank you.
Alright guys, I don't know if I'm even going to make it through all these comments. My battery is dying and I have no way of charging my battery right now, so I'm going to stay with it as long as I can.
Good afternoon, good morning actually.
You can still call
My name
in
is
even
Nancy
not
Ogle,
on this
and
line.
I'm a 55-year resident of Berkeley. I'm here to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance and thank Supervisors Valle and Brown for introducing it. The board should adopt the ordinance as proposed. It applies only to rodeos and other entertainment and sporting events. It does not apply to ranching or threaten any rancher's way of life. The ordinance would ban wild cow limping and the use of bucking straps, spurs, and non-release ropes at rodeos. These activities inflict pain, fear, and the risk of serious injury on animals for the sole purpose of entertainment. Contrary to the arguments of some speakers against the ordinance, these activities have no legitimate educational value. They do not teach kids how animals think, feel, and communicate, only that they can be controlled through fear and pain. Opponents rely chiefly on nostalgia and tradition. Keep doing what we've always done, but that's no excuse for allowing abusive practices on animals to continue. The ordinance would allow rodeo to continue, just without practices that harm animals. This is happening now with circuses. The board should adopt the proposed ordinance to stop the abuse of animals. Thank you.
Next speaker in the chamber is Deanna Etchison. Deanna here? Yeah. Please speak.
Hi, my name is Leilani. I'm here today because the core of this issue is about how animals are treated at the rodeo. I am in support of a ban or reduction of the pain and suffering inflicted upon animals at the rodeo. The rodeo does use cruel methods for the purpose of entertainment. The movie and television industry have bans and regulations for this very same reason, because of cruelty upon animals for entertainment. And there is no good reason why there should not be bans and regulations on the rodeos as well. Thank you.
Alright guys, my battery is almost dead, so I'm going to have to stop this live stream. Thank you so much for being part of this. Make sure that you're watching on Zoom.
My name is Amelia Marshall. I live in Oakland, California. I'm here today to urge the supervisors to not adopt this ill-conceived ordinance. It is clearly intended by the animal rights extremists to put the Rattle Ranch Rodeo out of business. There is a wide range of opinion on what is humane and what is not humane. We can agree that using cattle prods on horses is inhumane and tripping them is inhumane. These practices are illegal. However, while I've ridden my horse in Redwood Regional Park as a past volunteer mounted patrol member, I've encountered animal rights folks who are adamant that horseback riding itself is inhumane, and some people actually believe that keeping dogs and cats as pets is inhumane. These are not reasonable views. The community around the Rowell Ranch Rodeo is a good bunch of folks. Jack BCO has mentored at-risk young people and taught them marketable skills in his horse trailer repair yard. May he rest in peace. Captain Jack Wilding of the Alameda County Sheriff's Posse has taught industrial arts at San Lorenzo High School. Every year, the rodeo raises money for breast cancer screenings for low-income women, and they have special programs for children with disabilities. The nature of the prohibitions that the sponsors of this ordinance want to impose, these are basic tools of the cowboy's trade, and I urge you to vote against this ordinance. Thank you.
All right, guys, I have to get off this live stream. Please, it should be number 9 to raise your hand. Thank you for joining. Make sure you say your comment, and I'll see you on another live
Good
stream.
morning. My name is Michelle Lang. I am a long-term resident.